Boom.
Welcome, folks, travelers. You've seen that town. It's been in your restless dreams. We're gonna talk about Silent Hill tonight.
Guys,
Yes.
I got a letter.
Yes.
The name on the envelope said Mary, my wife's name.
I forgot the
important,
rest of that bit.
Yeah.
Well, the important question is, does Mary know of any places where Chinese people hang out?
Yes.
That's a different series.
I
starting
know
with
it's a
S.
different series, but one of the things I do I'm Bane
Yeah.
and Tristan. Hello, Loud Equals Funny
Yes,
podcast.
yes.
Hyperfixations. Silent
Number
Hill.
3. Yes. Silent Hill.
Bane and Tristan here are both big Silent Hill fans. I'm not so much, but I'm curious about the series.
I've played all of them, even the bad ones.
I've played two. I haven't played one in a while, but I played that. Same with 3, and it's been way too long since I played 4. I really need to play it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only one that's like fresh in my memory is 2. And even
Yeah?
then, it's been a while since I've played it. It's been like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, 2 is the one that I think most people would say that's like the best one, probably.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the most
2 is-
iconic for certain.
Yeah.
2 is straight up my favorite video game story ever.
Say,
Okay.
it's one of a few. It's the best way to describe it is it's a gut punch.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's interesting because, I'm a Metal Gear fan, also a Konami series, big PS2 presence for that series as well.
Yeah.
And Metal Gear is another game, I made the Shenmue joke, but like Metal Gear, Silent Hill, any game around that time that was like a Japanese game trying to tell a story like set in America or whatever. I guess Shenmue wasn't, but it had like an English dub. And
Yeah.
so whatever you wound up getting was just usually very funny. And I know Silent Hill is like the voice acting is not like the worst, but I mean, for one thing, I know they hired. There was like a weird
Yeah.
thing around the hiring of the voice actors, wasn't it? Like,
The way
especially
Konami and a lot of them really did was they would just hire anyone who spoke English and was
Yeah,
willing.
like Guy Seehee, the guy who does the original voice for James Sunderland, basically showed up at Konami one day because his daughter was. I'm pretty sure she was auditioning for.
She was auditioning for
Mara.
more, I think. Yeah.
I don't think she got it, which is a shame. But hey, her dad got the role, even though he didn't fucking.
He didn't even plan
Yeah,
on.
he just kind of walked in. He was the chaperone.
Yeah, I know with Shenmue they hired people based on like what they looked like and if they looked like the character, which was just
They
ridiculous.
they basically hired like a bunch of English voice actors that were living in the area at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know
Like
Silent Hill's
a
like
lot of them.
it's a step above that. I think but it's like a little bit of a step down from Metal Gear, I think, because Metal Gear had like kind of big name voice actors, and Silent Hill is mostly like a lot of sort of unknown people, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
until
like
until about
some-
Homecoming.
Some voice actors, voice actresses made their names from Silent Hill, but
Oh yeah.
usually when they were initially hired, they were big. They were small boys.
Yeah.
With the exception of the HD collection revoice.
Yeah.
Oh, there was new
Which-
voice acting in that?
Yeah.
They recast everyone for Silent Hill 2 and 3.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
They
yeah.
did include the original voices for Silent Hill 2, but they didn't do that for 3.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
that's
they
fair.
eventually got them to sign a new contract for 2. They couldn't reach out to some for 3 because one of them
Oh,
did. One of
yeah,
the
I
actors
guess
did
that's
die for 3
Mm.
before release.
Yeah.
Even.
The
Yeah.
Silent Hill is one of those series that I mostly only know about through osmosis, and one of the main things that I know is the HD collection on the PS3. Was it only on the PS? I think it was on the
It was
360.
It was also
PS3
in
and 360.
Yeah, stay away. Do not play. Comic Sans font on signs. Do not play. That's
See, here's the thing.
what I
On
heard.
PS3, it's less of a do not play because they at least patched some of the things.
True,
Oh.
and if
60.
you're playing, well, actually,
Ooh.
the 360 version, if you're playing on Xbox One and up, because they did through backwards compatibility fix a lot of the frame rate inconsistency and all that, but again,
But
it's a
also-
flawed experience.
They didn't change the fucked up fog. They didn't change the Comic Sans on the Silent Hill Ranch sign.
Yeah.
They didn't change, the fucking disrespectful voice acting work.
Yeah, and that was one where, well, Silent Hill comes out of that wonderful primordial era of like late 90s, early 2000s Japanese PlayStation game where it was like really experimental, really high quality, but also it's very strange in a lot of ways, like the voice acting. Uh, yeah, Silent Hill 1, Metal Gear Solid 1, and Final Fantasy is another example of like games that were all just like bangers on the fucking, that era.
Yeah.
And then they kind of slowly fell off, but Final Fantasy is another example of one where they deleted like the source code
Yeah,
for
that's.
9 in
also-
particular.
They also did that with. I think they did that with 7 as well because the recent Switch release is kind of shitty.
Oh yeah.
They also did that with the
Yeah.
Resident Evil remake.
Yeah,
Which is
no,
why if
they
you
used
buy
to do
the,
that a lot back then.
If you buy the Resident Evil, the remaster of the Resident Evil remake, it looks marginally at marginally at best, and at worst very, very much so worse than Resident Evil 0.
Yeah.
Because Resident Evil 0 doesn't have that fucking problem. They kept the source code, which is well, I know this isn't a Resident Evil episode, but wow, they chose the wrong one to fucking what's the
Yeah.
word?
To lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny too, because Resident Evil, I mean, we aren't talking about Resident Evil too much right now, but that is one where notably one of the best, like, remakes ever is the RE remake. And Silent Hill, I mean, it had the one on the Wii, but other than that, it's been kind of left. It's another series from that time too that's left us kind of just languishing on the console, that like the PS2 or whatever. There was the HD thing, but they lost the source code, and even then, if you wanted to play that, that's like a 360 game, so it's already like years and years out of date. You can't play Silent Hill on your PS5 or your Xbox.
Yeah, you can't play even PT
Two.
on PS5. They won't even let you transfer it to PS5.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get into PT as well. God.
True.
But
Yeah.
no, it's definitely one of those ones where it's like, how do I play Silent Hill 2? Is there a cool remake? Is it on Steam? No, I just have to emulate it, I guess. All right.
Well, there's
Yeah.
also the Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition on PC.
Very
Which-
true.
Oh.
It's a bit of an ass to set up, but only like a little bit.
Was
Only
it
really
like
gotta do it once.
was it like
yeah, you
was
can
it
just
ported
copy and
back
paste the files afterwards.
at the time?
It was originally ported around
Not-
2003, but the PC port
Mm.
was shit.
The PC port was ass before
You,
the
you,
Enhanced
you gotta
Edition.
think, this
It
is
was
also the time
bad.
of the original Resident Evil 4 PC port, also, right?
Yeah, DMC
Actually,
DMC3's
that was-
PC port.
that was before the Resident Evil
Yeah.
4 PC port.
Well, it was
True,
4
but it's that same time.
It was right
yeah,
around
it's the same
when
general time period.
Yeah, MGS2 also had like a pretty bad PC port. So this is like a fan-made sort of updated thing.
Yep, the fans
Yep.
have kind of came in and really just done the work, and honest to God, genuine improvements. Even I think they patched the executable to run properly on modern PCs. Also, yep.
Really? So
So
this
you
is like
can go up to
the
4K
peak
and
way.
shit.
That's the peak way to play it now,
Oh,
you'd say.
Yeah,
100%.
it absolutely is.
But
Either
Silent
that
Hill
or
1,
like I would say
Silent
either
One's
that.
PlayStation 1. Just you gotta emulate
yeah.
that.
Yeah, like they're. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only way.
Well, there
'Cause
was the
I know
Wii
that,
one, but it was like filled with Waggle or whatever.
Yeah, I know that Silent Hill 1 not Silent Hill 1, sorry, Metal Gear Solid 1. Like that was ported to PC and then like given a pretty nice makeover for the Good Old Games port.
Mm.
But I don't think Silent Hill 1 has gotten that treatment yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I mean, we're all over the place a little. We should start at Silent Hill 1, but it's just interesting for me because I'm not really into the series. Like, talking about how to get into the series is in and of itself like a hassle. And it's like, you have to just emulate the PlayStation 1 game. The remake
Yeah.
that is coming out
Because of
is
2.
for the sequel. And
Which,
which is like
business-wise, it makes
cool.
sense, but...
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's the game people like more and it's more iconic, but like I don't know, what if you're autistic like me and you want to start at the fucking start, you know? You just have to like essentially you're forced to steal their game from them. There's no way
Well,
I
you
could
could
just
you
give
could
them money for Silent Hill 1.
you could buy a PlayStation Classic.
That's true. I suppose I could. Is that the only? Oh God, it's like how
I
Star
think you
Fox
have to
2.
put it on there, though, don't you?
Don't you?
Is it
I
not
remember it
already
being
on there?
Let me make sure.
Silent
I might
Hill
be
is
wrong.
absolutely a game that should have been on the PlayStation Classic
Yeah,
if
if
it
it wasn't,
wasn't.
then I'm shocked, honestly.
Yeah.
I modded the fuck out of mine, so honestly, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
same. Same. I can't tell you for sure and without going
Um,
and looking.
no, there wasn't, but there was Revelations Persona. So
Oh, good. So you
Okay.
can play the weird version of Persona where they like race swapped the
oh
characters
yeah,
to be
dude, Black
American or
Black
whatever.
Mark ruled. Okay, Black Mark ruled.
I gotta play that sometime.
Hell yes, you do.
So what exactly is the deal with Persona with Silent Hill 1? What's tell me all about it.
So Silent Hill 1, it was Konami's attempt at essentially making Resident Evil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They basically took this team of like
Literal misfits in the company.
yeah, basically literally just a band of misfits. And they said, "Okay, you're going to work on this like Hollywood survival horror game and you better fucking deliver or we're going to take you out back and execute you or something."
Yeah, it's like literally if you guys don't get this done and it's not successful, you will be fired.
Nice.
So they basically just threw everyone at the wall and hoped it'd stick. And this was basically fucked from Jump Street.
Yeah,
During development,
made it
one of
work.
the what's up?
but they made it work.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
During development, there was an internal dispute essentially because one of the animators wanted to do essentially 3D, motion video, the kind of the cutscenes you see in game, right?
Mm.
Konami was not down for that. This artist Takayoshi Sato, who I will be mentioning a lot in the next fucking episode, or next fucking game. I mean, god damn it. He designed the characters, like 3D models. He did demos for Konami, presentations. He taught like all the older staff members how to model 3D, but he wasn't going to be credited because Konami's higher ups essentially were saying, "Look, you're teaching all these people. If you really want this work, you're going to have to do it all yourself." So he did it all himself. He would stay
Nice.
overnight, living inside the building, taking every single computer, 150 of them, to render every single 3D animation, and it took the entire development for him to do that.
And they're pretty good for having been done by literally just one guy in an office at night.
Yeah, he had to come in and basically and he also had to model Caucasian actors when he didn't.
Yeah.
He himself had no Caucasian people for reference. He had to use
He doesn't
different
have any white
film.
friends.
This is Japan at the time. It makes sense.
Yeah,
I will
it's-
say, it's not the best FMV that you're going to find on PS1. However,
Yeah.
for being made by a single guy, it's legitimately very impressive.
Oh yeah. So to
yeah, that's pretty cool. I never knew that.
again, remember that name, Takayoshi Sato. That man, it will be very, again, important when we talk about Silent Hill 2, because he was basically the writer, the head of that. He created all the cutscenes for it too, although he had more help this time, but we'll talk about him later. So the plot of Silent Hill 1 starts with essentially it starts with a cutscene, but I'm going to start with the actual beginning. We see, a man, Harry Mason, and his wife pick up a baby girl off the side of a road, and that seems not important for now, but just remember for later. Cut to 8 years later. Harry Mason, who is a writer, he's driving through because he's trying to go somewhere else, but they're trying to drive through Silent Hill, trying to get to a vacation. A person walks out on the side of a road, and Harry swerves to miss them, and then we kind of cut to a couple hours later. He crashes, his daughter's missing, and we run into the city of Silent Hill, which is a fog, kind of like a snowy, foggy mess, essentially.
It's not snow, right? It's like ash.
Here's the thing. It is snow.
Oh.
It's only ash in the film.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's weird then. All right.
It's a little weird. But it makes sense why people think it's ash, and it really makes sense for the film. So I don't mind it when people say it's ash. Some people get pissy, but
Masahiro Ito gets pissy about it.
He does get pissy.
He is very upset, and honestly, I would say rightfully so, that a lot of people think Silent Hill is based on Centralia.
Yeah, which again, for a film, it totally makes sense to base it on Centralia.
Yeah, it's just a lot of people have that misconception, and it's a very common one.
Yeah. It's a shame, because I think the snow is a nicer touch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so Harry runs through the city, and he's trying to find his daughter, and it's completely fucking abandoned. Like, doors are locked on buildings that should be open. He's, running through the city streets. Eventually does see a silhouette of his daughter, but she runs down an alley. And, Harry decides to run down that alley. It starts to get a little darker. He finds a corpse of, like, a fucking dog just ripped up right next to a baby carriage.
He finds an abandoned wheelchair, which is never a good sign.
Yeah, abandoned wheelchair on its side and the wheel still spinning.
Listen, that's either a really good sign or a really bad sign. Either a miracle happened or...
Yeah, either Jesus has come back or the devil has come back.
It's like, one of these two situations is not gonna go your way.
Christian just came back, so it could go either way, really.
It's true.
But he starts to run down an alley, and as it gets darker, you hear an air raid siren, which is a very common sound in this game. You'll hear it a lot.
It signals something.
And as he's running down, he finds a bloody stretcher, and then he walks up to a corpse just hung in barbed wire, which still, like, I mean, out of all the game's visuals, which again, this game, it's 24 years old at this point. Jesus. It doesn't look great, but this image of a guy just, like, ripped to shreds, arms missing, and hung up in barbed wire, still, like, again,
it's fuck.
It's like,
well, I mean, fuck. Like, yeah, you say, I mean, people listening can't tell, but, it's a very PS1 aesthetic, grisly murder room with, like, barbed wire bisecting a guy, and I think it looks quite good for the PS1, I really like that kind of low poly shit, so yeah, no, I mean... especially like hearing
this series, and I think this game especially, is Puppet Combo's aesthetic.
Yeah,
I've seen that company.
I know that it's definitely influential in terms of, like, and also stuff like, any sort of low poly throwback horror kind of stuff that's been a trend lately. I didn't really know that this was like I knew it was like a B team game. I knew that Team Silent was like, because Konami is like low-key one of the most evil gaming companies, and weirdly spiteful.
Shit.
Yeah, like weirdly very spiteful. That's the way they treated Kojima before he ended up leaving, and so they, I guess, just like put together a bunch of people they didn't like. And they were like, well, go ahead, make a successful game, loser. And then they did.
Just do it, forehead.
Do it,
I knew that it was like B team, but to know that it was like the one guy animated all that shit, that's really impressive.
Yeah, and like it was mostly to fight off somebody taking credit for him. He probably did not want to do that, but he was like, you know what? I want fucking credit for this.
Yeah.
This is my idea. I'm doing it.
Hell yeah.
Um,
And
so
that's why he's the Chad of this story.
he really fucking is, especially when we get to 2.
Oh,
So eventually we run into, depending on what country you live in, either mumblers or gray children, which are these little creatures that have knives and can attack you.
Hmm.
They
Which one
changed.
is?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They changed it for European because they changed for European and Japanese release to mumblers because they were deemed too similar to children, which of course they're called gray children, but
yeah.
Oh, they're not actually children.
they're not actually children. They're about the height of children.
Yeah, they're small guys.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, they're about 5'4". You know, it's understandable. Yeah, these are only in the American game and the film, so we got our own special enemies.
Nice.
Yes. So yeah, he gets attacked by them, stabbed by them, and eventually he passes out and wakes up back in what seems to be the real world, in a diner. He was rescued, or at least seemingly rescued, by a woman named Sybil Bennett, who is a cop that we'll meet a few times in the story. I think the film kind of gives her a little bit more. You get more time with her in the film than you do in the game, but that's neither here nor there. So that's also where we get our first, like, she hands us a pistol, says, look, I don't know what's going on around here. You seem normal. Here's a gun. Which, that's not really good police, but
Well, it's good police. It's just not,
yeah, it's
good
not
police.
yeah, it's not the smartest idea for her, but hey, it worked for him. Because as you're leaving the diner, you encounter your first enemy you can fight, which is essentially a
Fucking
pterodactyl.
pterodactyl, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
They call it an air screamer, which, yeah, it screams, and it is the most annoying one to fight with tank controls in the city, because that fucker will rush you and then just hit you and run away.
Hmm.
So with
Yeah.
tank controls, you're like, oh shit, and you have to like spin around and just like, all right, can I hit it? Can I hit it? Can I hit it? Nope.
No, it wasn't until the second game that they had the option to like change from tank controls.
Yeah, you can
right?
do
Yeah.
what, like, they call it
Although-
like 3D movement. It's a little iffy, but
Mm.
Yeah, I would personally say that it's a little bit better with tank controls, personally.
for especially for
that's just-
Yeah.
Yeah, for the first
one's,
few.
one's the only one where it's kind of hard because you have to like spin around and like hit that fucker.
Yeah.
I guess it's worth mentioning, like, one of the reasons that I and a lot of people haven't played these games, is because of the tank controls thing. They're also not that easy to like access in a normal non-emulation way, but
Yeah.
yeah, the tank controls thing, it's never been something I like that much. It's something it's kind of weirdly unanimously hated by everyone now. I find it funny that there's just very, very few people who will ever support tank controls in any capacity.
I like
Even
tank
though it's
controls
like
for games like
it's
this.
wrong.
Silent Hill, yeah, like, I don't know, it's a
Oh.
fixed camera. It would be a lot more annoying. Like, Yakuza 1 had not tank controls, and when you walked into like a transition screen, it was very frequent that you would just like wibble wobble between transitions as your fucking controls try to catch up. And if it was just like tank controls, it would probably have been slightly easier. But yeah, no, there's certain scenarios where it works. I think Silent Hill's one where it's like, and people always say that like you're supposed to feel like you don't have much control because you're supposed to be scared. I've always kind of questioned that a little bit, but like, yeah, I don't know. In terms of, especially like Resident Evil, I don't know so much about Silent Hill, but I know with Resident Evil they would often specifically design the fixed camera and the well, it's the combination of the fixed camera and the tank controls that people are kind of bothered by. People want to move the camera and like not have pre-rendered backgrounds or whatever. Which was Silent Hill 1 pre-rendered?
It was not.
No.
It was
Okay.
full. Like, it was an open world game in a way.
Interesting.
Because you
Yeah.
could.
It was pretty close.
What you could do is, if you wanted to, you could just cut off and just try every door, see if something's open, which really would help in some of the games because you could find, a fuck ton of ammo beforehand a boss fight, before you get to the boss fight.
Yeah.
It was nice,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Rewards exploration.
I know in Resident Evil 1, though, like, and some of the other RE games, they specifically the fixed camera was used to, like, highlight certain things or to present certain things in a scary way. And, like, did Silent Hill do the same thing?
It kind of did.
Yes, I do remember specifically in the school it tended to do that.
Yeah, which, kind of get back to it, we do kind of hunt through the town. We find 3 keys for a doghouse. We're trying to. I'm skipping past some of the puzzle shit.
Yeah, gameplay stuff.
But
you play the video game and yeah.
So
like video game and thing happens.
We slowly head to one of the most iconic locations of a franchise, Midwich Elementary School.
Mm-hmm.
Midwich is such a good fucking, like, it's so well designed. There's really haunting areas about it. Let me just take a drink real quick.
Of course. It's really good. It's also, funnily enough, based on the school and I think Kindergarten Cop.
Yep, it exactly.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah, they built a lot based on what they had American-wise. Which, hey, I get it.
Oh yeah, completely understandable. It's just a little funny.
So yeah, Midwich is one where we start to learn more about Alessa and her. We haven't really mentioned Alessa at all, so that's something new here. So yeah, as we go to the school, we find, these little references to this girl who seems to have been bullied. She, seems to have been harassed a lot by other students. And as we're going through with Harry, he finds this little, like, puzzle, essentially. I'm gonna talk about a couple puzzles, but
that puzzle.
Yeah,
I never understood why people had a problem with it.
Okay, I can tell you why, since I've gotten older.
The answer is over there on the other wall.
Yeah, so there is a.
Is this like a Sonic 3 barrel thing, or
no? This is you're given a clue to a piano, which is it's got 7 white keys and 5 blacks. They're all covered in blood, and you have to hit the right sequence. So the clue was: first flew the greedy pelican, eager for the reward, white wings flailing. Then came a silent dove, flying beyond the pelican as far as he could. A raven flies in, flying higher than the dove just to show that he can. A swan glides in to find a peaceful spot next to another bird. Finally, out comes a crow, quickly coming to a stop, yawning and then napping. Who will show the way? Who will be the key? Who will lead to the silver reward? So, you gotta think, as somebody who was dumb and didn't know how pianos worked, this was a hard fucking one for me growing up.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily getting it either, but I think in context I maybe would.
That's the thing. In context, there's an additional clue. Certain piano keys don't make a sound.
Yeah. They'll make a clunk sound.
Yeah, the name of the poem is like The Silent Birds or something like that.
Yeah.
So the general idea is, okay, well, we have
birds without a voice. Birds without a voice.
Birds without a voice, yes. So you have the piano keys, they don't make a sound, and then the poem tells you the order to put them in. And even without the poem, there's only 5 options. Even if you don't like discern exactly where they are from the poem.
Yeah.
There's still only 5 options.
Kind of learn.
It doesn't really take that long to just, intuit it.
You also have one where you got to find a chemical to burn an old man's hand from another medallion.
That one was harder.
That one was way harder.
Now, was Silent Hill 1... I know that 3 had the option. I don't remember if it was the first one that had the option for, like, combat difficulty versus puzzle difficulty.
That was 2.
Yeah, 2 had that.
One does not. One is...
I always thought that was a really Okay, I always thought that was a really interesting thing to separate those because
I
people do
love this.
famously have a lot of issues with the puzzle. Especially, I remember 3 is the one that I've heard has like some of the most vexing puzzles for people.
Yeah, and for
Yeah.
me, yeah, the fucking Shakespeare puzzle. Good lord. But
Oh
like
god.
for me, I like hard puzzles, but I'm not like I can do combat. I'm a normal combat guy.
Right.
I feel it.
No, I'm not like big on the idea of tank control combat, so I'd probably turn that down, turn the puzzles up a little higher. But then the puzzles would also probably be frustrating, so
To be
somewhere in the
honest,
middle.
the expert puzzles for Silent Hill 2 are really good
Oh yeah.
and they're not difficult enough for you to be like, how was I supposed to know that?
Yeah, there's some brain teasers, but there's nothing that's like more than brain teasers, you know?
Yeah, in Silent Hill 3, you need a fucking
You need a
fucking
literature,
encyclopedia.
like,
Yeah, you need encyclopedic knowledge of fucking Shakespeare.
Wow.
yeah, there's a few of them where it's like, how the fuck was I supposed to know that?
Tristan, I'm sure you'll remember the hacking puzzle in Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah,
That is now my instant go-to when I think of a video game puzzle that's not like the adventure game kind of how did I know to put these two items together, but like, man, this makes sense if you have the context for it, but holy
yeah.
shit, I'm stupid.
I will say that puzzle is very manageable because you can brute force it, and you're not really penalized for doing so.
Oh, the hacking one?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
all of these cards, like the empty cards that you like write the code onto, and I don't think it's possible to run out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not so bad. It's just very odd.
Yeah,
And the
it's to solve it without brute forcing does take some very strange and specific mathematical skills
yeah.
that even with a high school education I
It's like,
don't
yeah.
have.
Yeah, I don't know. The Shakespeare one sounds interesting. I
That
don't
one's fucking nuts.
I haven't heard of that. I'm sure we'll get to it.
Pretty sure we'll get there. Um, so yeah, from here, you have to take a little rubber ball once you finish both of these. You got to put that rubber ball essentially in like a little hole to get the water to go through something. That way you can drain a key that will drop on the courtroom, and then you'll have to fight the split head.
Mm.
Admittedly, I'm kind of summing up a little more there, but yeah, you go into the boiler room and fight the split head, which is essentially like a big dog that splits its head and tries to kill you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they kind of ripped it off of Resident Evil 5.
Yeah, it really does remind me of that one big fucking. You remember a movie? I forgot which Resident Evil movie they had it in, but when they brought the split head in, how that looked.
Yeah,
It reminds me of that.
yeah, they took that from Resident Evil 5.
Of course. So yeah, from Midwich, we kind of are pushed more towards the church in the town because we hear some bells, and that's where we meet Dahlia Gillespie, who is a fucking character.
That is true. She is a character.
Well, this bitch nutty.
Oh yeah.
So she apparently had foretold us arriving by Gyromancy, which if you don't know what Gyromancy is, buckle up. This one line,
boy.
this one line sent me down a fucking rabbit hole.
Okay.
So tell you what, I will have Claw try to guess what Gyromancy is.
Well, gyroscopes and stuff is like motion, so I don't know, motion
She
of the
danced.
body.
She gyrated her
She-
hips.
Well, what it is
Yeah.
it's a method of divination in which a person spins around inside or walks the circumference of a circle drawn on the ground, which the perimeter of which is marked with the letters of an alphabet.
Oh,
So
I
she
love Silent Hill.
so she stands in a circle and spins like an idiot.
Yep.
Speed.
The dizziness brought on by spinning or circling is intended to induce randomness or facilitate an altered state of consciousness.
Oh, I
Which,
see.
by the way, the Wikipedia article is like it's about 3 3 lines long, essentially, and one of them is, Gyromancy is mentioned in the PlayStation game Silent Hill.
Oh, so it's 2 lines long.
But there's another line I skipped between it, but that didn't matter as much. Yeah, no. It... How the fuck do they pull that form of divination out of their ass? It's great.
Well, I mean, like, I'm looking up gyromancy on YouTube, and I'm seeing nothing other than Silent Hill, so, like...
Yeah.
I don't... They might have just made this up.
I mean, hey. So she gives you an item, which is called the Floros, and she tells you that the Floros will stop everything that's going on. That is exactly what she tells you. Remember that.
Yeah.
It will stop everything.
Yes, it will stop everything. Wink. So yeah, it's apparently a cage of peace that can counteract the wrath of the underworld. So just put that in our back pocket. We'll remember that for later. We kind of got to go around and put it in a couple places. That's fine. So we're basically told, go to the other side of the city. There's a hospital. Use this here too. So we're sent to Alchemilla Hospital, which is probably the best part of the game in my mind.
Yeah, I had the most fun with it.
Yeah, we're introduced to two characters in the hospital, one in the Fog World version and one in the Other World version. But let me see here. We've got... All right, I'm just getting my plot sorted in order here. So yeah, we go in, we meet Dr. Kaufman, Dr. Michael Kaufman, who, he's been working at Alchemilla for a few years. We would learn about him more in Silent Hill Origins if we want to learn his backstory, but we're not going to talk about his backstory right now. We're going to talk about his forestory. That was such a bad joke. I'm sorry. So yeah, we learned that, he's really confused about the situation. He doesn't know why the city's like this. He totally knows why the city's like this, but...
Obviously.
Yeah, of course. I mean... Come on. But yeah, we're exploring the hospital. We eventually run into the basement of the hospital where we find this dark room where it's essentially a gurney, but a hospital bed that looks like shit, but it's draped with this big plastic fucking tarp. And we learned there's a girl in there who's still alive. Again, put that in your pen. Keep it going here. Eventually we run into, again, Lisa Garland once the world shifts. Once we're in the other world, we meet Lisa Garland, who's hiding under a desk, and she's panicked. She runs into our arms. She's like, what's going on here? All that. She's panicking. But before we can really discuss anything with her, we shift back into the fog world. Harry is in another room. Lisa's nowhere to be found, but he finds Dahlia again. And she says, hey, the mark of Samael is, spreading through the town. You really got to go and take the Floros and rub it on it. Come on.
And she says this while she's standing in one spot spinning.
Not yet. She does that outside.
Oh. God, I wish.
Okay.
If she did,
I just assume every scene with her, she's like spinning in place, going, "The fate of this world is in stairs."
My
I'm getting dizzy.
She got vertigo.
Yeah.
He keeps doing it so much, she got fucking vertigo. But yeah, she tells you, hey, go delete this mark. You gotta make sure this isn't completed through the town. So we're sent to we meet Sybil, and she says, hey, I found this at this place, this antique store. Let's go here. And as we're starting to leave, we end up seeing Lisa again. She gives us directions to the lake. But she also feels like she's not supposed to leave the hospital. Like, she's not allowed to. That's a bit weird. Now, this one here, we're going to talk about a little deviation of the game. Because, there's 4 or 5 endings. 4 main endings, 1 UFO ending. We're not going to talk about bad endings today. We'll probably touch on them at the end. But if you want bad endings... Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the bad ending of Silent Hill 2.
Okay, yeah. But, well, for one, I'm kind of just doing the good ending since it's kind of canon.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to save Kaufman, you can skip a place called Annie's Bar, but we want to save Hoffman here, so we're going to talk about Kaufman. God damn it. Why did I say Hoffman? I've been thinking about fucking Saw. So yeah, we save Kaufman from getting attacked by I forgot what creature, but that's not important. We save him, and after we sort of walk out of the building, we find his vehicle, his motorcycle, and inside it there's a stash of red liquid. We found some of this in the hospital.
Kool-Aid.
It's a yes, very much Kool-Aid. Um, the name of this fucking thing, which I gotta try to pronounce this correctly. I'm gonna see if they have a pronunciation guide here. They don't. Agalophytus. Agalophytus.
Galophytus.
Here, one of you two try to pronounce this fucking word.
I'm pretty sure it's
Aglophotus.
Aglophotus. I think so.
Yeah.
Aglophytus. We're gonna say Aglophytus. Fuck it.
Aglablab.
Aglarbalorb. To tell you what, Advan.
Skibbity bibbity toilet. I don't know.
Or Aflac. We'll call it Aflac. Fuck it.
Nice.
Oh, good.
So we find his stash of Aflac in his gas tank, and when he comes and grabs it, he's fucking pissed at us, and he just runs away. So that's not seemingly important for now. So we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, it doesn't involve me.
Yeah,
I'm just an innocent bystander.
So we regroup with Sybil. We start to try to figure out what all is going on. We found an altar in that antique store that was for the cult, for the town's cult, which is a little weird.
Cult that every town has, yes.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you've lived in a Midwest town, you've probably seen a cult.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, as we're doing all this, we try to go and save Sybil because we got separated from her. We're trying to get Marcus Samael done, but we find her again. We finish off a mark at the top of the lighthouse before we run down to the amusement park, which Silent Hill's Lakeside Amusement Park will be really, really popular and important in 3, but it's important here too. Let me see here. So while we're the carousel, we end up fighting Sybil, and this is where the good and good plus endings deviate, because we can kill Sybil here. Good plus.
Okay.
So
yeah, they just kind of do that.
Yeah.
And
if you decide not to use the Aflac that you found in the hospital, you can choose to kill her.
So basically,
yeah.
Depending on your insurance preferences,
yes,
you can have the good or the good plus ending.
This is essentially
premium or premium plus, sir. Which plan would you like?
This is essentially if you have a pre-existing condition with your health insurance provider.
That's really how it feels.
Exactly. It's a fate worse than death. So, assuming because the good or good plus endings, we can kill or don't kill her. Technically the canon ending is she's probably dead, but we don't see her past 3, so it's up to you on good or good plus. So we'll save her. We pour the liquid into her mouth. She pukes up a parasite, and with that we start to try to figure out what's going on. We see Alessa finally showing up in like a physical form, and Harry uses the Floros to trap her in place. However, Dahlia comes and says that he completely manipulated her because she'll trust him. We don't know why she'll trust him, but we'll find out in a little bit. But yeah, Dahlia essentially says, so, your daughter that you've been hunting for? Well, she's part of her. And then Alessa's powers snap and essentially throw us into a different dimension for a tiny bit.
Interesting.
Yep, we're thrown into a place called Nowhere, which is where the rest of the game takes place. And Nowhere is actually
that's where the Silent Hill series has been located for the last
decade. Oh yes. So yeah, Nowhere is a fucking weird mishmash of like 4 different areas we've been through already, but in a kind of dreamlike state. Let me I got my little summary here. So yeah, we do find Lisa eventually, and she realizes why she can't leave the place is because that she slowly, over the time, has been transformed into whatever the creatures are. She just didn't know it.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, which is a really fucked up thing to think of, like, oh,
Yeah,
she's
and
just been
honestly,
slowly replaced by something, and she knows
it's
it.
also a fucked up scene too.
It is. We start to see her just deteriorate, and she starts to bleed from fucking everywhere. We do the smart thing and lock the door behind us and run. Because we don't even fight Lisa. Which, fuck.
So this is like the final boss encounter kind of
Well,
thing.
this is the final story thing before we get to the end. Like
Okay.
we got a lot going on. We do find a diary from Lisa, which essentially says that she was a nurse. She got addicted to a drug the town made, which, yeah, funny enough, I didn't get into this with the cult because the game never really gets into this after a little bit. But yeah, the tourists have all been addicted to a drug the cult has been making called White Claudia. Well, PTV, but it's made from White Claudia, which I think is a better name for a drug, so I'm calling it White Claudia.
White Claudia. That's a good drug name, yeah.
It's a way better drug name, but
Sounds like a good flower name, too.
yeah, the town essentially, because they became a resort town after a few years, because the cult had came to prominence in like the 1800s, and then, like a lot of Midwestern cities, or at least like cities on coastlines, like Silent Hill's on Maine and all that, a lot of tourists go up there, you know? A lot of people travel up there because it's nicer in, summertime. But, man.
So was this game inspired by, like, Stephen King stuff, then?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, very much so.
One of the interesting things, especially the first game, you can look with the map, all of them are references to writers or horror-related, like, references. Like, my favorite one is there's Bachman Road.
Yeah.
And it's definitely inspired by Twin Peaks. Like, if you've not watched Twin Peaks at all, the Silent Hill franchise will be completely different to you. If you've seen Twin Peaks, you're like, okay, I understand that.
So this is one of the many Japanese attempts at being Twin Peaks, like Deadly Premonition or
the Japanese.
Falls.
There's different. They have different tones, but yeah.
True, but the Japanese
Persona 4 also.
The Japanese love Twin Peaks.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Which, respect.
Yeah, I mean, it's good.
One of the best things about Persona 4 is the strange small town murder mystery tone, which is one of the least touched on things in that game. So yeah, maybe I'd prefer Silent Hill.
Hey. Oh fuck. But sorry, I had to take a drink there. All right, I got a little more here. So yeah, we eventually make our way through nowhere. We learned from Lisa's diary that she was addicted to a drug. Kaufman was supplying it to her because him and her were fucking, basically, which is confirmed in Origins, but Origins, again, made after the first 4, so it's a little iffy on the canon. But yeah, it was essentially, though, once we get out of nowhere, we find Dahlia. And if we did save Sybil, we find her. And we find a figure who's wrapped in bandages, and it's Alessa and Cheryl recombined. So, the best way to describe it is when Alessa finally, like, spiritually broke the town, she was also able to essentially split herself into 2 different forms with separate consciousness, which is impressive and weird, but Dahlia tried to sacrifice her daughter to birth the god that we see in the games. And the god sacrifice thing is a clusterfuck in every time they've attempted it, but
it is, yeah.
It's like, you guys really did not plan for every possible outcome, but I get it. You didn't think this would happen.
You can't anticipate everything.
So yeah, Alessa essentially decided to split her soul to prevent the god from being born. So that soul was found by Harry and his wife, who is named Jody, but never mentioned outside of her dying, so that happens. They find the baby, and they decide to adopt her when nobody can find records for her, and essentially the state gives up on it. And then, In the present, Dahlia essentially casts a spell to essentially influence him to head towards Silent Hill. Which, admittedly, that's kind of an asshole they put in there at the end. But and it's revealed that the mark of Samael is the seal of Metatron, which is a frequent logo that we see in the series now, essentially.
It's also sometimes called the Halo of the Sun. I'm putting one in the putting one in the fucking thumbnail.
Now, Metatron, that's not a transformer?
It is not. That's
Okay.
a Jewish. It's within the Judaism books. It's like a prophet. Yeah. There's a lot of religious references to things just in general in the series. Like it's not just like Catholicism or Christianity. There's a lot of references to a lot of different things. I know I'm not explaining that well, but you know what I mean.
That's fine.
But yeah, so once it's revealed that we've been a pawn for Dahlia this entire time, the plots of the endings start to happen. And we're gonna go with I'll mention the good plus first, and then we'll mention the good, because there's a little bit of difference. Not too much, but a little bit.
I'm really interested by how much difference there seems to be in the game. There seems to be a lot of interactivity. I knew there were multiple endings, but a lot of this stuff is like, hey, if you save this guy, if you go here, if you don't go here, it's very interesting.
Because I know enough about Silent Hill 2 to where if Bane doesn't mention an ending, if you don't mention endings, I'm gonna mention them.
Yeah, because with Silent Hill 2, there's a lot of things you have to do certain endings. Like
and it's nuts.
Read.
Yes.
So yeah.
Also perform the ritual.
Oh yes, that too. So there's Good Plus, which is complete the Kaufman side quest and save Sybil, where Sybil tries to shoot Dahlia, but she misses. Alessa and Cheryl finish the merge, and they become the Incubator, which is you get the Incubator boss fight, the Incubator boss fight in two of them, and Incubus in the other two. I'm trying to make sure on these. So yeah, you fight the Incubator. The Incubus in this one. Incubus is good endings, Incubator is bad endings. So the Incubus kills Dahlia after it emerges from the Incubator. The Incubator, Harry fights and then defeats the god, or the Incubus, and then the Incubator will give him the baby, who is Heather Mason.
I'm very confused.
Yeah, admittedly, this didn't explain it well.
Yeah.
So, the Incubator is Heather and Cheryl combined. And in the bad endings, you fight them. If that makes sense. In the good endings, you fight them, but you don't kill them. You fight the Incubus, which is the creation. So yeah, Incubus kills Dahlia.
Sounds a lot like Chrono Cross with the baby daughter alternate universe time travel clone or whatever.
It's not
there's
that.
Two different soul splits here.
It's not that complicated, but yeah, it's complicated.
It's a little complicated.
So the merge form of the finished merge gives him a baby and says that's a way out. So Harry and Sybil escape, but as Kaufman tries to escape, Lisa Garland appears and drags him down into the abyss. The other world basically starts to collapse. Nowhere is a pocket dimension, essentially, just crumbles. So the combined form of them gets consumed by the flames, and then Sybil and Harry escape with the baby. And I posted earlier the image of Harry with the baby, and that's from a good ending, where essentially it's the same, but there's no Sybil there, so...
This is, when you describe it in this way, it sounds like a very... I don't know, I guess maybe for the genre it's normal. I don't really have any frame of reference, but you assume a game like this would be kind of like a low-key, I don't know, Silent Hill 2 is kind of mainly about a guy and dealing with his trauma and stuff, and I assume that's what this is thematically too, but It sounds like a fantasy game. Like, it sounds like you're describing the plot of Baldur's Gate 3 with the evil cult
Yeah.
and the different timeline and the different alternate dimensions and like what wow.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting this.
it gets a little wild.
Yeah.
And then we haven't even got to the bad endings where they all like the two bad endings are both like really sucky in my mind for what happens to you, but makes
Oh,
sense as
yeah.
a bad ending. So bad plus, which is you don't complete the Kaufman side quest, but you do save Sybil. So Alessa and Cheryl they merge. Sybil tries to kill Dahlia while they're merging, but fails, and then the incubator kills Dahlia. Harry then battles the incubator, who after defeat thanks Harry. Harry then collapses in sorrow over the loss of his daughter. Sybil then walks over to Harry, smacks him out of his grief, and tells him to go as the other world collapses around them. That's the ending. You basically get told,
Interesting.
suck it up, loser, your child's dead, come on. Which,
Quit grieving, asshole.
yeah, it's like, you got 20 seconds to grieve, motherfucker, and 10 of them are already gone, come on. Then the general bad ending, which admittedly, this is the first one I got, because I think it's the first one most people got, because I didn't know
Yeah.
the Kaufman thing was a thing, so...
Because who would have thought to go to the fucking bar?
The bar that, like, I did go to it first, like, before I thought about it, and he wasn't... I didn't think he was there, because I didn't go inside. I ran into one locked door, assumed it was all locked, and then just turned around. But, yeah, so... Alessa and Cheryl merge. They kill Dahlia. Harry battles her, who again, they thank Harry and say goodbye. He collapses in sorrow, and then he's seen bleeding from his head, unconscious in his car, suggesting that everything that happened at Silent Hill was just a dream, conjured by the failing synapses
I
of his
love
dying
Biggie
brain.
Smalls.
Oh yeah. He then wonders if it's ironic, because at one point of the game, he foreshadows this by wondering if it's everything happening to him, or if he's in the hospital after the car crash. So, yeah, the bad ending just kind of sucks. Or bad, yeah, normal bad, not bad plus.
Yeah.
That, of
Yeah,
course...
it reminds me of
not
like the Shadow the Hedgehog bad ending where it's literally, or like the neutral ending in that game where instead of just getting any answers, you just get like a complete non-answer bullshit ending that's like, oh, I guess that's what happened to Shadow. Okay. Anyways, thank you for playing the game.
It's
And
like,
you just have to be like, imagine somebody just plays that and they just don't know there's other endings, and it's like, wow, you must have had a completely different experience when you just end the game like that. Damn.
Yeah.
fuck. And then we get to, of course, the greatest ending. So,
Oh, dog is
UFO.
the second game, right?
yep. So, after New Game Plus, I believe it's New Game Plus. Yeah. After you get it, you play a new Fear game after getting a good plus ending. So you have to do the one where you save Sybil and Kaufman. So you do that, you'll get a channeling stone at Convenience Store 8, and then you have to go to 5 different locations and, like, look at something with it. And then you get the UFO ending, which, Harry Mason asking, which, you know, I did not say it at all at once during this whole thing. If they've seen a little girl, short brown hair,
Oh yeah, that was like the original Jason.
that was the original meme.
Yeah.
So yeah, he as aliens land in front of him and they all come out, little gray aliens. And of course,
What a guy.
Harry.
What a guy. The first thing he says when he meets extraterrestrial life, hey, have you guys seen my daughter?
You see my daughter? She's like, 3'2".
5'8", you know?
I
Very
respect
tall
it.
for a 10-year-old.
I respect it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, man's on a mission.
that leads us to Silent Hill 2 because it's the end of Silent Hill 1.
Oh boy. I'm not done with my thumbnail, so I'm gonna have to fucking divide my fucking focus.
I'm sorry, Tristan. I'm sorry.
Silent Hill 2 is the one that I really know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So leading into this, I'll mention, folks, there's going to be Silent Hill 2 spoilers. If you haven't played it and you want to play it, this is right now. You back out. Like,
if you have any interest in Silent Hill 2, go in as blind as you are now.
Even if you're excited for the remake, then definitely also skip, because
they're probably gonna fuck up the story.
They might. This is Bloober Team, but
so play the original.
Yes, it's abandonware on PC, so you can get it wherever you want. I'm not gonna say where you want.
Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition. Let me find the site
Yeah.
for Silent Hill 2
Give me
Enhanced
one
Edition.
second. I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
put that in the link. That's just the mod. That doesn't give you the game itself, right?
Yeah, it doesn't give you the game, but it's
Okay,
enhanced.townofsilenthill.com. Go to it. I'm going to post that there in the chat.
Yeah,
That's
this is oh god.
again, that's enhanced.townofsilenthill.com.
Yes, that is a project I've been following myself for probably about a couple of years. They've been doing it now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't think we could link just the game itself, but
Yeah.
like yeah, just the mod there, that would be good. And I don't know when we're thinking of putting this out exactly, but you know, this is around the spooky season when we record it. You know,
Perfect time
it's
to
a
play.
good time to play it. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking about
There's
putting it.
no better time to play Silent Hill 2. Maybe
You know-
maybe besides like right after you're grieving for someone or like when
Huh.
you've done something
Oh
bad.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
that's
if you
a good
ever
time to play
murder
Silent Hill
somebody,
2.
maybe play Silent Hill 2. That's what I've heard.
if you
What does that
ever
have to do with anything?
feel
Oh,
like
you maybe
you-
maybe putting yourself in the headspace of Pyramid Head.
yeah, look.
Oh.
Hey, you ever feel like you've probably done wrong in a relationship after a breakup? There you go.
That's
really what Silent Hill 2 feels like.
That's gonna lead to some suicides.
How
Oh
about
boy.
that?
Yes, Silent Hill 2 is a little like it's a little rough by the end, but I don't know. I'm
It is
excited.
heavy. It is very heavy.
You know, from where we're recording, we're almost a year since the Silent Hill 2 remake full announcement trailer, the one
Oh, that was a while ago. Yeah.
during the transmission. Which, so far, the only thing that's going to come out of that this year will be the
Downfall, right?
Ascension, the streaming
Right.
series.
Right. I got those mixed up. What's
Which-
Townfall?
Downfall, we don't fully know, but it's being made by the guys who did Observation and
Right.
Stories
those guys.
Untold.
Okay.
Which,
Yeah.
you know, honestly, I'm excited for that one the most outside of F, but
Yeah, F is one as a non-Silent Hill fan. That one looks interesting because it's like
Silent
weird
Hill.
Sakura
Fuck.
forest Japan, and
Yeah.
it's like set in the 60s or something.
and it's also got this weird fucking like body horror vibe that hasn't been around in a while, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty cool.
interested. Man,
Hell yeah.
apparently the film that they're doing of Silent Hill 2 is the reason that Konami wanted to get back into games. So, yeah, tell you
You
what,
know what? Whatever. Fine.
we'll save mentioning the film for after, because I want to talk about the film when we get to that. But I tell you what, we'll talk about the Silent Hill 1 film real quick, because
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
now that I think about it, this fits most for it.
It does take some elements from Silent Hill 2 because every fucking Silent Hill thing has to have the pyramid thing in it.
Everything has to have Pyramid Head. That's kind of... But I'll say
It
this.
sucks because it's a very James-centric thing.
I didn't hate the use of him in the first film, if that makes sense. They did it as best they could, I think. But it's
Okay.
also like, you know, if I would have, like, you know, roles reversed, if I could have done that, I would have used Valtael instead.
Yeah.
But hey, yeah, I'm not a filmmaker. Could be worse.
Huh.
But
Well,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a ringing endorsement of something.
I'll say this: like the film tells what it needs to tell, and it hits the beats. I think that, you know, obviously you got to slam everything down into an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So you're gonna lose a lot. That's just the nature of doing a film. That's why I think, as we've seen lately, television adaptations for games are way better, because you're adapting a 10-hour game.
I've always said that, and
Yeah.
they're only just now starting to do that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think they're still making Metal Gear as a movie, so
I mean, I can see how you can do a single film. Like if you're doing a separate story, I can see doing a film that way. Like Kingsglaive or Advent Children, those movies. It's like they're not telling the game story; they're telling a story in that
Yeah.
world. It's like that makes sense. You know, if you're telling a Metal Gear story and you're telling it like between maybe like three and the original game within that time frame, there's, you know, I think you do a film somewhere in that. Later, it's a little iffy, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
the film The only thing I really hate about the film, and this is something that I found out it was a studio mandate, was the kind of split between the real world story and what's happening in Silent Hill.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
while since I've watched it. In fact, last time I watched it was before I even really knew that Silent Hill was a game series.
Oh shit! So your first
Which,
introduction was the film.
yeah, so I don't remember too much about that,
Yeah.
but I do remember that I was just kind of not interested in what was going on outside of Silent Hill.
I mean, I'll say this: the changes they did, like, because people were originally pissed back in that day with the change of Harry Mason to Rose Da Silva, which
Yeah, I
yes
understand
and
why,
no.
but yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
I mean, for me, it's like I would have been fine with like probably keeping the Mason thing, but Harry was always a blank slate, which made sense for a video game character.
Yeah.
I was totally fine with him doing Rose. I also really like I can't think of the actress's name right now. Fuck. Radia Mitchell. Radia Mitchell. I like her as an actress. So I was excited to see it, and they made Dahlia a sympathetic character, which was a different change, but I think a better change.
Okay.
Didn't hurt that it was Deborah Unger playing her, and she's a really good actress. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, no, I'd love to see because they're doing they did a sequel, which we'll talk about when we get to Silent Hill 3, because I have opinions on it. But leading into Silent Hill 2, that way we can delay spoilers a little more. They're making a new Silent Hill film supposed to come out at the end of this year, but it seems like with the strikes and everything, it'll be delayed to sometime next year. With Christoph Gans directing it
That
again.
yeah. I mean, hey, they have a
That
guy.
is, it's very strange to me that they decided to bring back. I mean, I know that some people liked the first
Yeah.
movie and everything, but like, man, that's not like it was like a particular classic or anything. Like, oh, people were really clamoring for him to have his take on the series again. I don't know. I think
Um,
there were probably a lot
yeah.
of people who would have liked to have made a Silent Hill movie who maybe weren't like corporately mandated to do so.
You'll see, Christoph Gans had the rights, and then I think he went to jail. I can't fully remember because I thought he like ran into
Nice.
someone. I can't remember what happened, but for some reason it's not on his Wikipedia anymore. I know there was a reason he didn't direct for a little bit, but unless I missed something, good. But yeah, no, he was supposed to direct the sequel, but it was replaced by MJ Bassett, who directed Death Watch, Solomon Kane. Those were decent movies, so I was excited, and then that movie came out, and I wasn't. Um,
And then I was excited for the thing, and then the thing happened.
but yeah, Christoph Gans also wants to make a Fatal Frame film.
Interesting.
So here's the thing. Excitedly nervous about that idea, but
Hmm.
it could be good. Who knows? But yeah, to pivot, let's talk about Silent Hill 2.
Yeah. So Silent Hill 2 is it's the one that I know the most about.
Yes. It's probably the best one to start with. Even though
Yeah,
like 1 is a great game, and if you want to play 3, I recommend it, but 2 is so standalone and it's so fucking good.
yeah, it's a cut above the rest, and that's not to disparage the other ones because
The rest are pretty
it's
damn good cuts.
yeah, it's that good.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those, Planescape, Torment, Majora's Mask, Earthbound top 10 games of all time kind of
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
So we first start with one of the most iconic frames of all time. Like we see James Sunderland like in in a shitty bathroom, possibly like one of the like worst
I've been
roadside
in
bathrooms.
I've been in bathrooms like that. They're never fun. Nothing
Yeah,
ever good happens in those things.
yeah.
He just got out of the glory hole, that's why he looks that way.
Oh God. Oh
You know,
God. What was on the other
honestly,
side of that glory hole?
for him it'd be better if there was a glory hole.
Yeah.
In this
At least he'd have
situation,
something to do.
You know, this whole thing would have been totally over if James Sunderland would have found a glory hole there and just driven away afterwards.
Just get some monster sloppy, you know what I'm saying?
Fuck. But yeah, no. He gets a letter.
This is the game that the sexy nurses come from, by the way.
Oh yeah. Hey, you want to know why all the nurses from every game after this are fucking hot jack off material? Guess
Because
what,
of this
brother?
game.
Yep. Which admittedly, like, the nurses are iconic, but it's like, man, I love the nurses from Silent Hill 1 where they look like old wartimey nurses.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's my favorite. Ah, man. So yeah, we get a little VO saying that he found a letter, and it was from his wife, who's been dead for 3 fucking years. She died from a terminal disease.
Yeah, he says that Mary, quote, died of that damn disease 3 years ago.
So this is like almost the Resident Evil 7 like almost just stole the plot of this game.
Oh no, it absolutely stole the plot of the game.
Yeah, it's still like the base.
At the very least, it stole the inciting incident.
It stole the concept. Yeah,
it took the screws out of a wood and put it into its own wood, essentially.
Right. Yeah, very different final product. But you described that, and I'm like, wow, that sounds extraordinarily similar to Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, like I played Resident Evil 7 at a friend's house because this was before I had a fucking actual PC.
Yeah.
And when Ethan said that it had been 3 years since he had seen me, I was like, hang on a second, I've seen this before.
So it's fucking scene. Oh, I remember this one. This one's a classic. Just came on. Yeah, no, it's like they took a good framework to work from and kind of built their own house, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, it's good. I like it. But we're not quite there yet.
We're not talking about Resident Evil today.
Yeah, let's wait to have a fun hyperfixations on Resident Evil, because I could go on about Resident Evil, and I feel like we could also, you know, there's someone else who could go on for a while about Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, so
Silent Hill 2.
So yeah, like he's even thinking it's a prank, but he notes that it's definitely her handwriting, and it's aware that he made a promise to her to come back to Silent Hill.
Yeah, so either this is the most insane prank of the fucking century, or there's some kind of shit going on.
Yeah.
Now, were they like living in Silent Hill before then?
No,
they vacationed there.
Yeah. So, without getting too deep into the weeds of the lore, because technically 4 kind of possibly explains it because of his father, but it's possible he lived in a town called Ashfield, which is like a couple hours away plot-wise.
Okay.
But again, that's, you know, neither here nor there on that. But yeah, we go through a crazy long path to a graveyard,
and they fuck with you on that path too. They really fuck with you.
So to bring up Takayoshi Sato again, which I just realized I probably fucked his name up, but hey, I'm shit with names. He was the writer of the story for this one too, and essentially based the plot around crime and punishment.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So there's a lot of really interesting little dark things throughout the story, and again, a lot of things have to just be like pointed his way and bowed down towards, because he fucking he wrote this story like a fucking monster. It's amazing. But neither here nor there. Let's continue. We go through meeting that, get to the graveyard, and we meet a woman named Angela, who is this very jumpy girl. She's coming to find her mom, and she's like, hey, there's something wrong with this town to James. And
then James is like, I don't care.
Oh yeah, James is so nonplussed with his own life at this point that he's just willing to just go in to this shit.
I didn't know working as a fucking clerk would get you in that position.
Honest to God, yeah, it would.
Fair.
But yeah, we start to go through the city. It's it's definitely not the same Silent Hill that most people think of, that he would think of probably. But creatures start to attack him. We find a radio where someone's, saying something to him. Somebody's saying something to him through the radio.
Something mysterious.
Yes.
Something that you should definitely listen to if you play this game.
Oh.
Although if you want to play this game, you've probably already fucking left.
Started, yeah.
That's okay. We've been waiting for you. Welcome back.
Yeah, we're trying to get to a place that, James thinks is like the first place, which was Rosewater Park, which you actually do see in the Silent Hill 2 remake trailer right at the ass end of. But, yeah. We're trying to pass through an apartment complex because it's the only way. Everything is got these big holes in them, which we haven't talked about one big part of a city, which is, there's a lot of big fucking holes for just no reason.
Their fucking transportation department is not working. Their ass is asleep.
Fucking some Cincinnati level ass fucking maintenance there.
So, this might
Ohio ass.
This might be Japanese game developers, but they understand American city infrastructure quite well.
Oh yeah, they got their research on that.
Yeah, the roads in the city are as wide as you would think they would be for an American town.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Honest to God, their recreation, because they hadn't even went to America until the second one, I think, when they were doing production for that. But for the entire production of the first game, they had not stepped foot in America. So
they just they got all of it from movies.
Yeah, which hey, it looked accurate, felt accurate.
Yeah, worked. Hell yeah.
So yeah, as we're going through the apartment complex, so we run into at first the most annoying character, but her theme is the main theme of the game, Laura, who steps on your hand and kicks a key away.
Fucking bitch.
Yeah.
The spicy keychain down.
And this is also where we first we first meet the Red Pyramid Head.
You also no,
that is his like official name, right? Red Pyramid thing. I think.
Yeah, because Pyramid Head is technically a fan name.
Yep.
Right.
As far as I know, the only name that it's had in Silent Hill 2, and I'm pretty sure also the series at large, is Red Pyramid thing.
There's also like if you, because there's a comics that he had that Ito put out, which like he was noted as the White Hunter in those, but
I like that name.
Fucking, I'll recommend the White Hunter book. I'll link it to you later. He was also Boogeyman in Silent Hill Homecoming, which and then Dead by Daylight still has probably the best nickname for him, just the Executioner.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Like, that's all you really need, yeah.
It's very generic, but for a character who's so iconic, you can have a name that's a little generic. That's fine.
He's based on the Executioners from the Silent Hill of old.
Yes. I'm trying to find that image, but
I had it on my clipboard, but I got rid of it.
Yeah, there's two different images. There's one that's like the like the painting, but there's also the one of them with the hoods. Like, there's a whole bunch of people with hoods on, and they're executing someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Pyramid Head in this game definitely has a purpose. In some of the later games, it doesn't.
No.
Yeah, Pyramid Head just kind of starts to get added because, hey, you guys know Pyramid Head, right?
Pyramid Head in like fucking Fortnite at this point?
Not in Fortnite.
Surprisingly, no.
He's in the only other game they've done a crossover with, surprisingly, other than Dead by Daylight, which I think did it pretty well, was a game called it's like Dark Discoveries, Monsters and Mortals, I think is the name of it.
That's
the fuck is
that? Dark Deception, Monsters and Mortals. I don't know. I tried it. Like I tried the game.
Like a phone game?
No, it's on Steam. It's essentially a cheaper Dead by Daylight.
Oh,
nice.
But far worse.
They're double dipping.
Far clunkier.
I always thought it was funny how Dead by Daylight has it's Heather and Pet Pyramid Head, right?
Yep.
So does the third game not have any monsters that are iconic to it that could be like Heather's monster?
Not on the level of Pyramid Head.
Not ones that persist throughout the entire game. There are the bunnies, but they're not really monsters. At least not to the extent that, the big boy himself is a monster.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to it because
Yeah.
I'm interested to know what Pyramid Head is like all about, actually.
So
Hell yeah.
yeah, as we kind of go through and we're exploring the city. We're exploring the apartments, I should say. Sorry, I'm a little out of it. Work all day. So
No
we're
worries.
exploring the apartments. We meet
We,
Eddie
we, we, dropped,
Dombrowski.
we dropped some juice down the chute.
Oh yeah, oh fuck, I forgot about the shoe drop.
Got
That one's a
about all
fun
the
puzzle.
juice.
Yeah. This one I've been kind of skipping the puzzles. I'm kind of just doing the plot on too.
I could
If you wanna
name
knock
some
some of the
greatest
puzzles.
hit puzzles.
All right, because
Like,
it's been
once
a
we're
couple
done
years
with
since I've
the
replayed
general
all of
plot
these.
outline.
I remember the plot. The puzzles for some of these, it's been a while, but oh man. So yeah, we meet Eddie. He's throwing up, and right before we ran into him, we found a fucking corpse in a fridge, and we're questioning him. Eddie's certainly the most like goofy character of the series.
Yeah, he's also he's a very food focused character. He's
Oh,
got
yeah.
a whole bunch of he's got pizza. He's been throwing up.
One of my favorite
He's-
scenes is it's him with Laura just he's eating pizza, and I forgot what they were discussing, but
Yeah, honestly, I really like it. It's just they're relaxing, which
Yeah.
is something that you don't see often in horror games.
which, because in Silent Hill 2 especially, they mentioned that everyone kind of sees something different. It's
I can
not-
only imagine what he's seeing. He's seeing
Yeah.
a like fucking no food ass town.
seeing where's the food? It's a food drought here. Oh god,
Oh man.
my pizza. Which to be honest here, the question is, how the fuck did he get a pizza in Silent Hill?
Yeah, I remember.
Magic.
I remember people were saying when the that Silent Hill transmission thing was happening,
Yeah.
and it just started dropping like it was shilling every type of merch possible. And there were a number of people I saw being like,
Skateboards.
"Yeah, this is my Silent Hill."
I mean, I thought about buying one of those Silent Hill 4 skateboards. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I know you did. They had like blankets or something that looked kind of okay.
Yeah,
Honestly,
they did add
a
new
Silent
merch
Hill
recently.
2, a Silent Hill town map blanket would kind of fuck.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
Now, they've done this work with a company named Online Ceramics, which this is just recent. These are 3 of them that just came out. But the thing I hate about them is they have their fucking branding all over them. Which, you tell you what, we're gonna bitch about Konami's branding for a second. Just like, yeah, Online
Oh,
Ceramics,
boy.
and it's on all 3 of their new tees, and it's like, who the fuck is Online Ceramics as a company? Yeah, like this one here, Welcome to Silent Hill.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, click on the full thing, and then you go to the behind it, the back of it.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a joke. So what it is, it's a black t-shirt that just has like the cover for Silent Hill 1 on the PlayStation in like a square, and then below it says www.online-ceramics.com.
It's in
Free
fucking-
online games.
It's in fucking Arial font.
Yeah.
It's like you might as well just put it in Comic Sans, and at least then it's a reference.
here's the thing: the front of this one looks good, where it's just James, and then on the back it gets fucking weird.
The back looks like a fucking band tee.
Yeah, it literally
Not
looks
a
like a
good
band
one.
tee,
Good.
Not
And-
a good
and-
one.
and it's a
No,
fucking.
it's okay.
Take a guess on how much you're charging these. Don't look at the price if you're already on that one
The
page.
fucking one
Probably
here.
like $40.
There's this one here
$60.
that's like, welcome
What?
to Silent Hill. Wow, 60 to... Holy shit.
Yeah.
So, if you are not seeing these people, look them up, onlineceramics.com. There is one here that he posted that's got
60
like
Bucks.
purple font, and it says, "Welcome to Silent Hill. This place is like a ghost town." And then there's like these like character portraits in tiny little like pearl shaped windows. It looks like
Yeah.
like your grandma's like jewels website on GeoCities. It doesn't look like a fucking Silent Hill shirt. This is horrendous.
and
60 bucks.
And here's the thing, right? I went to look because I'm like, okay, is all their shirts this fucking price? No, this one here, which is a way better looking shirt, it's the Dorvit Wakes t-shirt, which is
Oh,
this is
Silent
fine.
Hill. This one is $32.99. That's a
Why
reasonable
is
price.
this one cheaper and it's the only one that's not embarrassing?
I might have to do an investigation on who the fuck Online Ceramics are and what kind of money laundering scheme do they have.
Well,
There's not a single fucking Online Ceramics logo on this thing, and it's half the price, and it
Yeah.
looks better.
it's way better, yeah.
Admittedly, the two things I have thought about purchasing
Why?
from, they have a loading screen hoodie from the first game. This pivoted into a merch talk. I'm sorry, folks. But yeah,
Don't worry,
They-
we'll get to Silent Hill 2.
so they have a
We'll
load screen
get to it,
hoodie,
get
but
to it.
then
I like that. I like the footprints. I really, really like that.
okay, so you like this one? You like this one even more. The fully loaded one.
Oh,
Where it's all the footsteps.
Okay,
All
that's
right,
just
that
stupid.
one's
No,
that one's a
that's
little
clever.
bit much.
It's clever as a reference.
Yeah,
I don't
But
get
that
the
first one-
reference, but
Well, because
I
the
just-
loading
the-
screen has like footsteps.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I like the
I like-
first one.
The second one's funny, but it's not something that I would want to wear.
Yeah, it's clever. It kind of. I mean, I don't know. I'd probably buy them both down the road, but I'm not
Looking
buying
like
them.
a fucking looking like a million gnomes river stomped in the middle of a snowstorm.
Looks like you've been, getting stepped on by a 5'4" person. Yeah, no.
Man, Manly
Konami.
Tears cannot watch this podcast. That's not an option for him. What a shame.
You probably wouldn't like it to begin with.
No.
But yeah, no. What the fuck, Konami? Because when I saw this merch, they tweeted it out, and I was like, what the fuck? And I clicked on it, and I saw the price, and I was baffled. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Because you could buy a full game soundtrack on vinyl here for $50.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like in what world is a T-shirt $10 more than a full game soundtrack on vinyl? Game
Exactly.
soundtracks, of course, being like frequently 2 to 5 times as long as a normal album.
Yeah. Oh, all right. We're gonna continue,
What
but
the-
again,
yeah,
fuck you, Konami.
Yeah.
Thanks,
absolutely.
Konami. You're really making everything great.
You're really providing us with, hope
Shine
in the future.
on. All right. So we met Eddie.
Yep. He's throwing up. If we do, like, we kind of scour this complex. There's a lot of interesting things, a lot of really cool puzzles, including an hourglass, like an hour hand puzzle where you have to kind of adjust a
Sadly,
clock.
that one's easy on every single difficulty
Yeah,
setting,
even
but it's
not
made up
expert.
for. It's made up for by some pretty good.
Hard.
My favorite puzzle.
Yeah.
Is once you get to the second apartments, because there's
Yeah.
another set of apartments just
Like right beside
next to
each
the
other,
first one.
and you kind
And
of jump
you-
between them.
Yeah, you jump between them through a window,
Yeah.
which I think is the funniest thing, but also it kind of goes to that sense of unreality
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
where like that would not pass building codes in any other city because you need fire escapes.
Yeah. Like, you need at least
But,
a way to get down. In Silent Hill, you don't
yeah.
need a way to get down.
Silent Hill is not a city that cares about fire escapes. That's what makes it horrifying.
Exactly.
Yes.
But the
OSHA
building codes
violations
are
and
truly the
Scary.
real
I'm
fear.
gonna die in a horrible fire. That's what it's not snow, it's ash from all the fires.
Honestly, the only difference between Silent Hill and New York City is the horrifying monsters in New York City.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
So, one of my favorite early game puzzles for Silent Hill 2 is very early on in the second apartments. You come across a desk with like holes in it, and you
Oh,
find these
yeah.
different coins around the complex. And let me read the puzzles.
See, admittedly, the puzzles have been burnt out of my mind after the last, decade.
I remember the expert puzzle, but not the exact wording of it.
Yeah.
Because the expert puzzle is just really fun. The coin puzzle?
Yeah.
They
It's
don't
fun.
sort. The Silent Hill 2 wiki fucking sucks. By the way, somebody needs to get an independent Silent Hill wiki because Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I hate the wiki.
Fandom sucks. Fandom is the worst possible site. Besides the ones that have child porn. Anyway.
You look far enough on fandom, probably. Super Nanny fan and wiki.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So for easy, it's just to the right is the lady, to the left is the old one, and the center crawls the other. 2 spaces remain, the puzzle is done. And the 3, medallions are given are old man, snake, and prisoner. And the prisoner is a woman.
Yep.
That's easy. Extra difficulty. Like coins in the hazy ether tossed, our souls must by their sinful weight descend to earth with lightness lost, to right the sins that they have laid, when thrice in falling they intone. That doesn't... Oh, okay, it'll rhyme with the second one. Their happiness shall be thy own. The first note be not by the horned one rung, though it be there that from that all sins be sprung. The bringer of life and the bringer of shame, these sins of the latter be even more tame. Though coming in the aged one's wake, the formless one's soul in fear doth quake. The needless one, silent, with hungers all sated, is least then in sin with all its lusts abated. For the gravest of sinners his place be appointed, and if he be lucky, may his soul be anointed. Yeah,
I could not
which
tell
one
you.
goes in which space, idiot? Figure it out, bitch.
Yeah, it's like I could not tell you where to go on that one.
Yeah, that's quite a puzzle. I don't think I would even know that that's supposed to be a puzzle.
Yeah,
I was
the puzzle's really...
I was focused on saying that in a really fun, creepy way, but like I'm not even sure where they go. I'm looking at their solution right now.
Yeah, some of the puzzles...
So
Yeah.
the puzzles change significantly between difficulties. I thought it was just like they make them a little easier or whatever, but I guess
They change.
Some of
completely
them,
change.
some of them change. Some of them stay the same. Some of them are like slightly different, but like when you look at it, you're like, okay.
I'll get to the Shakespeare. We're an hour and a half in. Holy shit!
Yeah, that's why I said first 4 because I know how long this is gonna be.
But we're like once we get to the Shakespeare puzzle, I'm gonna break down how that's different between difficulties because it gets nuts with that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But that one's a really fun one because like even on extra, if you really think about it, you can figure it out. Because they all talk about, a woman, a snake, empty spaces, an old man, that sort of stuff.
So yeah, since we're now the Blue Creek, the other apartments, we run into Angela again, and we find her.
Yeah, she's playing with a knife.
Yeah, she's laying on the ground in front of a mirror, and she's just playing with a knife. And
she's having a good time.
That's probably not the phrasing I'd use, but so she's she's talking about kind of her life, but she's being relatively vague about it. Or you get enough hints where you maybe could piece something out, but nothing explicitly said. But you can tell she's had something go on. So she's kind of like threatening suicide essentially. So we take the knife from her. That knife will become very important. Put that in your pin. So James, as he's talking to her, she just runs out. As he gets closer, she panics and just sprints out the fucking door. So he takes the knife and leaves the building. It may seem like a lot of things are happening out of convenience here, but again, a lot of things happen real close to Lakeview. So as he leaves, we run into Laura again. She is sitting on a wall and she's kind of like humming, kicking her legs off of it, And we start to talk to her, and she, out of the blue, says, Mary didn't love you anyway, and then runs away. So
that's nice.
So we're like, okay, all right. So she knows Mary for some reason. We don't know how. So she could be a manifestation. She could be something different. We don't really know. This is like not a 6, but like an 8-year-old girl, 9. Roughly.
Yeah, sorry. I was taking a quick drink of water.
8.
Did you also mention that Laura said you didn't love Mary anyway?
Yep.
Yeah,
you never loved her anyway.
That's fucked.
That's interesting, but
That's a lovely thing to say to someone.
Fuck you, Laura.
But now that we're out of the apartment buildings, we're like a hop, skip, and jump away to Rosewater Park, which
the first time I played this game, I was so fucking happy to be out of those buildings.
Yeah. Oh god. So something also they did really well is make the dark actually look dark in Silent Hill 2.
Yes. And that's something that I think the HD collection also fucked up because
Yeah.
I initially I'm gonna admit something here. I'm not happy to admit it, but it's a fact about me that I've come to accept. My
Yes.
first playthrough of Silent Hill 2 was the HD collection.
I mean,
Hell yeah.
it's not the best way, but you did it on PS3?
No, 360.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Did you enjoy every achievement you get? The frame rate taking to 1 for like one frame for about like 2 minutes.
It wasn't that long, but it was
But it felt like it.
Yeah. It thankfully none of that happened while I was like,
Dude,
trying to fucking fight for my life.
It usually happens at the end of a boss fight, which, as shitty as it, dude. Okay, let me tell you this real quick. The first boss in Silent Hill 2 that you fight, I was having a not decent time, but I was like, okay, it at least is playable, right? I say jokingly and looking at the camera. I get the achievement, and suddenly everything tanks to a crawl, and I hear like when a game slows down and you can hear everything slow down with it.
I didn't have audio issues.
I had audio issues, and then
my frame rate just tanked. That's all there was to that.
I took the disc out of my Xbox and put it back in the case and just sat there for a minute, just like, what the fuck?
Thinking about your life.
Yeah, I ended up trading it. Konami had a trade-in program. For anyone who remembers this, I traded it for Silent Hill Downpour. And admittedly, I actually think I got compared to the HD collection of that state, I do think I got a bit. I think I won on that end. What I should have done was, if they had a Vita game, I should have had them send me the Vita game and kept it sealed. I would have been rich. Sadly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it's like $200 for a sealed copy now. I could have
Seriously.
I could have sold that for something.
Damn.
But yeah, back to Silent Hill 2. So yeah, we go to Rosewater Park and we meet Maria. And Maria is
She is a woman who looks exactly like Mary, except she has a different hairstyle and clothing.
She
looks
like
an extra syllable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
So Mary was dressed sort of
she's more like
modestly.
Yeah, she dresses in a lot of flowery patterns.
She had her hair up. In fact, you actually in the which apartments was it? It was one of the apartment buildings. You just go in. It was where do you get the flashlight?
Yeah, it wasn't Rosewater. It was not Rosewater Park. Jesus. It was
not Blue Creek.
Woodside. It was Woodside.
Woodside. Yes.
Yep.
So in one of those rooms, you actually find a mannequin with her clothes on it.
Yep.
And that's where you get the flashlight.
Trying to find it again. Here we go. I got a photo of it. But yeah, you find it in a room with two figures who they're these lying body figures, I think is their name. We do meet Pyramid Head molesting two of them, essentially.
Oh, those are mannequins.
Mannequins.
The lying figures are the ones that look like they were wrapped in cloth.
I fucked up the name on that one, my bad. But yeah, the mannequins, everyone's probably seen that, especially in the remake trailer, but that's where we first see Pyramid Head being a very sexual figure towards those two mannequins.
The second time we see him.
Yes, second.
Because we the first time we see him, and this caught me off guard when I first played it, because I knew of that one scene, but in the apartments, you just walk up. Actually, I think you walk out of a door and then you hear a sound.
Yeah.
And then you walk up a hallway, and then you just kind of see him pass some bars, and that's it. He's just standing there looking at you, and that fucks me up.
Yeah, he's not menacing, not anything.
I love it when shit does that.
Kind of like a G-Man kind of deal.
Kind of, yeah.
Trying to see if I can find.
Yeah, I like that sort of thing.
It's like a G-Man if the attention was kind of brought to him, but not in a way that it's like, yeah, you see it there. He's just kind of standing there. Like, it's not, you have to really look for him, but he's just there.
Yeah, and the attention is on him. You can't not notice him there, but he's not really doing anything. He's just there.
He's looking at you. And it's his inaction that makes it fucking spooky.
Now, would you compare this character to like a, what do you call it, a Mr. X or whatever from Resident Evil? Is that sort of a different thing?
He does show up about as
Yeah.
often, but he doesn't ever like follow you around like in a zone,
Yeah.
except in
Yeah.
one specific case
Yeah, I know those games are known specifically
where
for
you
like
home
the
invade that motherfucker.
oh yeah, like the pursuing AI is the Nemesis, right? In the
Yep.
third game, that's
Yeah.
like the big thing. So yeah, I guess
Which,
this is different, more of a story implementation with this fella, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah,
he shows
it's
up
a
when
bit
he's needed.
more like how the tyrant was in Resident Evil 2, the original version,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
where he just kind of shows up every so often, and then you either have to fight him or you piss your pants and scream and come and flee.
I would not be
Either
surprised
or.
if the 2 remake has him kind of in a similar state, though, having him kind of show up
Honestly,
sometimes, maybe.
I kind of think it would be cool if they did make him like a pursuer type character.
It could be
You know?
interesting, especially
Yeah,
like maybe for higher
you'd have to,
difficulties.
yeah, ooh,
That
you'd have to
actually,
balance it well, but I feel like that would be fun.
um,
Anyway, we're
yeah,
we're an
we're
hour and
deviating a
40
little bit.
minutes in. We really we gotta pick up the pace.
Yeah, 3 I can explain a lot easier. 3 is a lot simpler, but yeah, we meet her, we meet Maria, and she's very seductive towards James.
Oh, I will say,
Yeah.
so while Mary was dressed very modestly, Maria has a crop top, a button-up crop top,
Oh yeah.
and short skirt.
Let me
And
So it's
find
kind of
it.
like
I think the short skirt is leopard print,
it's kind of like
pink leopard
Catherine,
print.
the game with the
A
two
bit,
different
yeah.
A little bit.
Catherines. Yeah.
Oh, this one is very
Except
more direct.
those Catherines didn't look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the butterfly tattoo as well,
Yep.
and fucking go-go boots.
Like Maria, she's designed off of if I can't find the image offhand, but
Oh geez,
yeah, she's designed
Pamela
off.
Anderson.
No, Christina Aguilera
Yes,
from something. It was during
one of the
a tour.
it was like a music award, I think.
Yeah, funny enough, Mary's outfit was based off a lady from one of the ladies in Con Air. I know that.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah, I can't remember what exact image, but so yeah, we run into Maria and we decide to head towards the second
Okay.
suspected place. Yeah,
I keep sidetracking you,
You're
but
good.
it was Christina Aguilera at the 1999 Teen Choice Awards.
I knew it was something. I knew it was something.
I had a feeling it was the Teen Choice Awards, but I wanted to make sure before saying it.
So
Okay, not
yeah,
gonna interrupt anymore.
yeah, you're good.
Hmm.
So yeah, we start to head towards the Lakeview Hotel. But as we do that, we enter the Pizza Bolorama where we meet Eddie again. He's eating pizza, and
Look at Chad.
fucking like a chat. He's talking to Laura. I can't fully remember what he was talking to her about, but they were just shooting the shit, eating pizza at an abandoned bowling alley. Which,
As one
Honestly,
does, sure.
I've done that before. It happens.
I mean, could be way worse places to eat pizza.
Yeah, I've personally eaten pizza in
You
worse
would want
places.
to eat pizza in a morgue, bowling alley, abandoned or not. Good
Yeah.
option for pizza.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Laura runs right out of there, and we run back out. We try to find her. Maria says she saw her, and we run into Heaven's Night, which is the nightclub that Maria worked at. Which Tristan, have you played the side story, the Born from a Wish?
I know I've played most of it. I'm pretty sure I finished it.
Okay, well we'll talk about it at the end because it kind of makes more sense to play it at the end, actually.
Yeah, last time I played it was, I'm pretty sure, like shortly after the first time I played Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
Hmm.
We'll say that for the end there, but we follow Laura into Brookhaven Hospital, which is the other side of Silent Hill, the other side of a town. That side of hospital. It's a big city, surprisingly.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, two sides of a big ass fucking lake.
Fuck.
Yeah, surprisingly, it shifts around too, so.
It does tend to do that, yeah.
So yeah, as we enter, we explore the hospital. Maria starts to feel a little ill and decides to take a fucking nap like a dumbass.
Women.
Yeah, she gets a little ill, so she gotta sleep. So she rests, and we find Laura finally, and we actually get to speak with her. And she's angry because she claims to have known Mary for the last whole year, which completely contradicts us when we think she's been dead for 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's a little interesting. Again,
She's been dead for 3 whole years. How you gonna do that? You ain't been
Yeah.
talking to a ghost.
yeah, you're fucked. Like this little 8-year-old girl is saying that she's known her for the last year, but we think she's been dead for. We know she's been dead for 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's something to put in your pen there.
It's a fun mystery.
Laura decides to lock us in a boss fight room because
What a fuck you, Laura. Christ.
I mean, well, honestly though, for Laura, probably the smartest way. This dude's fucking crazy. He's saying that somebody who's been dead for years is alive, or has been dead for years, which has been dead for a year.
Facts.
Yeah. So, if in her mind, probably made more sense. But yeah, we fight the Flesh Lips boss, and that is a very, very symbolic boss.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah. Probably my
Flesh lips boss.
Yeah, it's essentially a cage with legs and something at the end of it. Yeah, there's a little something in between those legs.
By the way, I do want to say that
Yes.
on the way through the hospital, actually, this might be after, but you're with Maria and you go into an elevator, and then just all of the sudden.
Oh, this is after. I still got a little bit here.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll do it at that point then, because it's
I'll let
it's
you
a very
explain when we get there,
interesting.
though.
Yeah, it's a very interesting detail.
So yeah, after you defeat Flesh Lips, it switches to the other world, and James, he hunts for Maria. Could not find her in her room that she was at, so he goes down to the basement and finds her. She claims that he abandoned her and doesn't care that that she's alive and all that. And they begin to search for Laura, and that's where your scene comes in.
So, James and Maria regroup, and they go into an elevator in the hospital, and they just the ride is quite long, and then just out of the blue, there's this announcer, the game show host kind of guy, just asking James, like, talking like he's on a game show. Oh, well, we're gonna play.
Oh, I can't remember if
Answer the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Oh, wait, it was Trick or Treat. That's what it was called.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It was called Trick or Treat.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
It asked you, specifically you, James Sunderland,
names
3
you
questions. Yeah, names James Sunderland, and I'm pretty sure James reacts with surprise to this too, which I think is a fun detail.
Yeah.
But asks you 3 questions just based on details of Silent Hill, things that you wouldn't be noticing if you weren't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a few things that one's more of a reference to Silent Hill 1, one's a future reference to Silent Hill 4.
It was detailed in I'm pretty sure it was detailed in the when you dropped the juice down on the on the trash, and it was a note in the trash.
Yeah, you get to learn about Walter Sullivan, who it discusses 2 murders, the Billy and Miriam Locane murders.
Yep.
Who become the twin victim in Silent Hill 4, which is the most horrifying fucking creature in that goddamn game.
It's fucked up.
It is fucking spooky.
But yeah, if you decide to go to the box that it tells you to find and answer the question right, you just get some stuff from it.
Yeah,
and I think it's just it's so out of the blue, and nothing ever comments on it again. I just love it.
Yeah, and it's if you fail it, you just lose it. You no consequence.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a shit ton of ammo, if I remember right.
It's 5 boxes of shotgun shells, from what I'm reading here.
Oh yeah, that's very helpful.
Yeah, especially because you're about to run into 2 boss fights back to back, essentially,
and they're fucked.
Yeah. So this is right before it's right before we lead into the Historical Society, which is the most. There's a video. I'll recommend this. In fact, even if you have played the game, I'll recommend it by Stop Skeletons from Fighting. which discusses the historical society area as a whole, like how that whole thing plays through. Because
it is, to my knowledge, out of the 4 original games, the most dense area when it comes to just backstory.
yeah, it's there's so much shit going on plot wise, but there's also like some of the most tense encounters in the series. Like,
Oh yeah,
that's the thing I'm really really nervous of a remake is how the fuck are they going to do the historical society justice? Because it is a labyrinth. It leads into a prison. It like it really, you know, people talk about how the cult isn't involved with Silent Hill 2 a lot, which it's not with the plot. You don't need to know any of the cult stuff from 1 or from later games. But saying that it doesn't touch on the cult shit at all, that's a flat out lie.
That is completely not true.
Yeah. It is
Historical
almost...
Society is basically just like, hey guys, Silent Hill 1, and also here's some more stuff.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you guys didn't think we're bringing any of the cult stuff back? Okay. And it again, you also see the in the Historical Society itself, you see that big poster of Pyramid Head, the iconic one.
The big painting that everyone.
Yeah,
it's
Misty Days, Remains of Judgment.
Yes.
And yeah, that when you first run into that, it's like, oh fuck. Okay, all right. Well, don't know what to do here, because that's when you realize, like, oh yeah, this is something that, you know, this shit doesn't happen to just James. You know, if you just play this game, you start to realize it's not just James.
Yeah. Although there is
Oh yeah, here's also that one image, the one of the old, like the, yeah, you know.
Honestly, for me, that one's scarier because it looks like a fucking real photo.
It's just real people, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
I will touch a bit more on Pyramid Head specifically in this game later. Okay. But it's definitely, yeah, this brings a lot of.
I do think we should probably split this into a separate episode for the rest of the games, because, yeah.
Honestly, I'm down for that.
It's also
1 and 2.
We haven't had a sponsor read so far. Should we do that now, or should we skip it for this episode? We haven't done.
Skip it for this one.
Okay.
How about, mention it, you know what? Why don't we make this just a really long episode, and then we do the sponsor read after Silent Hill 2?
Sure, that'll work.
Hell yeah.
Wait, no, really long episode? I gotta make a roast.
Okay, well... we'll just mention, Cushy Dreams, code LAB25. You've listened this far in the episode. I hope you hear this. Now back to the video.
Also, fucking Patreon.
Yes, Patreon.
And Loud Equals Funny on Patreon. We got some merch. There's buy that merch. Oh, yeah. You know, and don't buy Jake Paul's merch.
And by the time I upload this, I'll have updated the website. And good website, loudequalsfunny.com.
I'm thinking after this one we start making them, like, you know, come out first on the Patreon.
Oh yeah,
Hyperfixations, because you know, three is a nice little sampling of the stuff we'll get into.
At very least, like at least a couple weeks, it'll be on Patreon first.
Yeah.
Okay, works for me.
All right.
But yeah. So
Historical Society.
The Historical Society, yeah, we run through probably one of the most intense spaces in a horror game, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's intense.
I'm not sure if it's like, I'm not sure if it's like in horror games in general, but definitely the Silent Hill series from what I've played.
Yeah, it
there are bits. There are bits in Resident Evil, specifically like Resident Evil 4, that in the original, the area under the castle with the Novista doors.
Yeah,
that fucks me up because it's not really scare wise, but just tension wise. But like Silent Hill's Historical Society is definitely up there.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister, by the way. Now that I think about it. But yeah, we do meet Mary again, who you know, assuming I got this right. Yeah, so when we were going into the elevator, she gets fucking attacked and killed at the end of the hospital, which I realized I
Yeah,
did
it
not
wasn't.
mention. Did not mention that.
Yeah, I thought you meant the elevator that we trick or
Yeah,
treat happens in.
separate
No, no.
elevator, different one
There's
as we're
this.
going through.
Yeah, the pyramid guy shows up and everyone's like, "Oh fuck, and
Yeah,
you run."
Maria gets
And
stabbed through the back.
yeah, James makes it to the elevator first. Maria gets stabbed in the fucking back, and then James just kind of has to deal with that.
Yep, which he's seen a manifestation of his wife die, and then now as we've went through
The
the
second
historical
fucking
society,
time,
we
the
meet her
second fucking
again.
time you've watched his wife die.
Yeah, and then we meet her again, and he's like, "The fuck?"
How the hell?
And she's like, "What are
Also,
you talking
straight
about? I
up,
didn't die."
straight up, the best scene in the whole game.
Yeah, it's even featured in the opening animatic, which I talked
That's
about for the
great.
first game a little bit, but yeah, the opening
The opening
animatics, fucking gold.
Yeah, the opening animatic for Silent Hill 1 has plot details that you need to watch.
Yeah,
The
it's
one
it's
for number 2,
literally you need to watch it before you start this fucking game.
yeah, the one for Silent Hill 2 isn't necessary to watch, but it's just a really good, like, it's a combination of that narration from Maria,
And
then Promise, then Theme of Laura.
yeah, it's
Wait, yeah,
because it is
in that
promise and
order.
theme of Laura, yeah, which
It's worth mentioning, of course, that the music for the series, Akira
Fantastic.
Yamaoka.
yes.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Akira Yamaoka is like fucking legend.
I've heard some people put him down for being like very sample focused, but it's like I don't know. Have you ever listened
So
to
is
hip hop
fucking Hideki
before?
Naganuma. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah, no, it's he makes a very. It's not like your typical horror suspense music. From what I've heard of it, there's a lot of like guitar loops and stuff happening,
Yeah, I
and
like his guitar stuff a lot.
yeah, it's pretty unique, you
But
know.
Yeah,
also his ambient droning music is like really fucking good.
I mean he
Mm.
really like the thing of his score is it matches with the game's feeling, which it's hard to do for a lot of horror games lately, at
Yeah,
least.
it's very hard
And
because you either run the risk of having things be too fleshed out and loud and like pervasive
yeah,
to where there's not really any
Frankenstein.
quiet moments, or it's all just kind of lost in the sauce, you know?
Yeah, background noise.
And the Resident Evil remakes have been doing this kind of poorly recently, and
yeah,
it's really sad because there's some good music there. It's just not being pushed up because there's a focus on atmosphere, and I get that. You want atmosphere, but also music can contribute to that.
You want to have a good balance. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, great examples are Resident Evil 4, the original, the
Oh,
Resident
yes.
Evil remake, Silent Hill 2, most Silent Hill games, honestly. Anything that
Honestly,
Akira
even
Yamaoka.
even the ones Licht did, which I thought were pretty, because Daniel Licht did two of the later games before he passed away,
Mm.
and I thought it was relatively pretty decent. It
Alright.
wasn't as good, but I mean it's except for the corn song, that one sucked. But
Well, yeah.
yeah,
Who-
I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to put corn in Silent Hill.
I could not tell you. I'm wondering who's because I know someone else is helping him with the remake, but I know Akira's working on a remake.
That's
Oh,
good.
So yeah, hey, that's something.
All
Um,
right, so
yeah. Where were we
Maria
at?
died.
Yeah, Maria
good
died.
music.
Um,
Historical Society.
Yes, one
And
second.
then James goes down a bunch of holes.
Yes, there's
a
a lot of
of
holes
holes.
in the
I
labyrinth
think
of historical society. You're just jumping hole.
you meet Pyramid Head, you break into his fucking home and steal his knife.
Yep.
Which, by the way, fun detail about that. If you turn your radio and your flashlight off,
Yeah.
and you walk around with the great knife, lesser enemies will avoid you.
Which
Mm.
is clever. There's a lot of clever things. Like if there's some that if you just turn your light off and don't move, they won't even notice you. They'll walk past you.
Yeah, they won't
Stuff like
see
that
you
is cool.
'cause why would they?
Yeah, in this game, it's actually recommended if you try not to kill as much.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've got like ammo conservation and
Well,
stuff.
that and the endings.
Oh,
Mhm.
Yes. Well, we'll get to
If
those.
you
like a
kill, if you
Dishonored
kill,
1 type of thing.
Yes.
yeah, kind of. Except it's less of a fucking shitty, because oh,
Less
the
of a
rats
janky
invaded.
mess.
All right, so after that,
But yeah, so we meet Maria again
also,
in that
I
cutscene.
will
which-
say
Hmm.
that's where Pyramid Head is like loose and able to follow you.
Yep. And
So you steal his fucking bread knife.
we do eventually go to the other side of that cell, and she's fucking dead.
Yeah,
Yep. So we eventually kind of, as we're running through the labyrinth and trying to get out, we find both Angela and Eddie, but we find Angela first, and that's where we meet the version of her father.
the abstract daddy.
Yes, which the abstract daddy is the most horrific monster when it comes to meaning, because
It's fucked.
I'll send the image here in the chat to us, but it is essentially a body of a man laying over something in a bed. And I feel like you can probably connect dots there that we're not going to mention, because it's a little fucking haunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
And
we
you
fucking
can
kill it.
you can also look on the walls and there's like articles that kind of mention it.
Yeah, in the boss fight area that it's in, it's got a whole bunch of piston-style holes in it.
Yeah, holes with cylindrical things undulating inside of them.
I can find the article I was just at. Fuck, here we go. Yeah, that's a fucking tiny GIF version. Oh, I can tell the person playing this is playing on a PC version. Wanna know how I can tell? Because if you look there, the little white circles at the end of each hole, that's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you, Silent Hill. Thank you, Silent PC version. Yeah, so we finally we kill that fucking creature, which that was also a kind of hard boss fight if you play on the higher difficulties, because that
Yeah, it's
fucker
rough.
will climb onto you. But you know, we kill him, and Angela, understandably still distrusting James, is saying that, you know, doesn't trust him, doesn't trust men, she's only after one thing, and calls him a liar who didn't want Mary around anymore. Which, something about this game, and I'll just kind of verbally explain it, because you really got to play it to understand, but in Silent Hill 2, everyone's kind of at this weird, like, heightened level of reality. So,
Yeah.
she probably didn't even say that, but James, you know, the town is basically trying to fuck James up, essentially.
Hmm.
So-
Yeah, I see.
That town is fucking an asshole, honestly.
The town in Silent Hill
dick.
2 is the biggest fucking
What a
prick.
dick.
Like, because we'll meet Angela later, and I'll definitely explain why the town's a prick here, but we'll save that for when we get there. But we meet James after that. We meet Eddie again after that. Fuck. We meet Eddie again after that, and you know he's laying in a freezer. He's flipping out. You know, he's telling.
Oh, you missed one bit.
Oh, I did.
So this is I believe right before the prison.
No, this was.
And
I thought this was after a prison.
is it?
Yeah,
Okay,
because
all right, so
this is right before he gets on the boat.
in the prison,
Yeah.
you see Eddie. I think you dropped down from a hole.
You did.
Just into a prison cafeteria, and Eddie's just kind of sitting there with a gun, and he says the most out of pocket shit, and it's James just kind of just like, oh damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
But like Eddie's like, damn, you know, killing someone ain't so bad. You just put the gun to their head and go boom. And,
Oh, yeah.
and James is like,
Like, oh, you
how
gone
could
nuts.
you say something like that?
Yeah, you eventually fight him, and it's not a hard fight, even on the hardest difficulty, but he does
Quite easy,
bounce
actually.
around.
Because like I'm pretty sure all you have to do is just hit him a couple times with a rifle.
Oh, if you got the shotgun, you just gotta like run up close and just hit him like 5 times, and he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprisingly, a human being does not last that long against a shotgun.
Wow. No way.
Yeah, you know, 5. I mean, he's not a skinny guy, so 5, you know. But even then, 5, like Jesus.
Yeah. he's built different.
He really do be. But yeah, James, he feels shocked that he killed a human. He's even questioning his events around the town because as we find out slowly through the game, if you decide to keep reading Mary's letter, it slowly starts to fade away.
Yep.
So
Eventually, it just disappears.
yeah,
It's just the envelope.
by the time we start to head to the hotel itself, it's gone. It's just a literal piece of paper. Not like
Yep.
we don't know how we even got it at that point. So we take a
Hmm.
rowboat all the way to the Lakeview Hotel because it's literally just across the lake. So fuck it.
Yeah,
We
you
get
pass
over
by
there.
an island on the way, which is
Yes.
definitely the dock that you left and the island that you pass are pins that you should put into your brain for
Yes.
this.
Remember those. Remember those. So yeah, we finally reach the hotel. We go in, and it's a big fucking hotel. Like the Lakeview Hotel is
It's
huge.
large.
Yeah, it's like if you remember the Overlook, it's about that same size from The Shining. Like it's about that
Yeah,
big.
I'm pretty sure it's the longest single section of the game.
It is we're gonna be summing up a lot here because some of us
Like,
have to sleep and eat. But
I don't think you leave the hotel
yeah, from this
after
point
you
on,
enter.
you are all in the hotel. So we meet
Okay.
Laura again, and she gives us the letter that Mary sent to her, which is a real
She's
letter.
she's less of an asshole this time, which is good.
Yeah. So
Although she does jump scare James by like playing on the piano. So,
it's incredibly funny.
kind of an asshole, but not
Um,
that much.
but yeah, so we get a letter from Laura, which is actually Mary's note to Laura, and what it says here is, you know, I love you. I wish I could have adopted you. Sadly, I'm going to be gone. Like you're writing this to an 8-year-old. It's you're writing a letter, but I'm gonna die. But happy 8th birthday, Laura. So, one, how could she have gotten it? Because she just turned 8 the week prior. So,
Yeah.
so we're at this point in the story. James is like, okay, hold up, what the fuck's going on here? And as we go through the hotel, we end up finding, the tape. Essentially, we get to room 312.
The tape.
We find the tape, and it starts out
And
with
I will say,
Yeah.
the videotape has been something that's been said, like talked about since the beginning. Mary's murder lynch, and we never did.
Yeah.
I think we never did take that videotape we made.
Yeah, but they essentially, she recalls that we had left the videotape at the hotel, which,
Yeah.
it could have been a VHS recording of Pootie Tang. It could have been anything. We didn't really know.
Hey, I mean,
hey, if it was,
there's a reason. There's a reason that James wants it bad so bad. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it was Mr. Plinkett's night court tape.
Exactly. It was all the VHS recordings of X-Play I recorded when I was like 12.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I used to do that. I used to record fucking X-Play.
The real treasure trove.
Yeah. So yeah, we get, we get
The scene.
James. Yeah, we get James watching this video, and at first it's it's a video of him and his wife at the hotel, and she's in a room, she's like smiling, it's like saying we're having such a great time, and then she coughs, and then we get a cut, and it's a hard cut, and it's like we see the camera on, but it's like off of where we probably want to be looking mentally, but it's like pointed at the ground or something, and we don't hear it. Although I will say this, there is a possibility if somebody wants to hear it, it's people have found the actual audio, because they did leave the audio of what happens to Mary in the game. They just cut it out of the tape.
Yeah, and they did that because it's
fucking haunting.
It's a rough listen.
Yeah,
it's a very rough listen.
So Mary, between the two scenes we've seen, she is suffering from some sort of disorder. We don't know what it is. We know it's terminal. There is
it makes her face look kind of fucked up, like she's for Freddy Krueger.
Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, I got the image for you. But like it makes her look like emaciated and rough in the face. She she was bedridden at the time, and James essentially suffocates her.
Yeah.
Yep. And this happened essentially not too long before the events of the game. So the whole 3 years thing, James essentially had a mental break.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the novel says that it's been like a couple days.
I think so. Which,
and that that her body is still in the back of his car.
yeah, but the novelization follows one ending, and we'll discuss that when we get to the endings. Um, I personally think that a certain ending is canon, but yeah, no, James had repressed a memory of her murder, and it's even confirmed by Masahiro Ito. So yeah, he hadn't noticed that he killed her. He just had a full-on mental break, and that's the events of the plot.
That's pretty cool.
So as he realizes this, we meet Laura again.
Laura comes in and it's like, James, oh, when are we gonna go and find Mary?
And he then tells her the truth, and she's pissed at him. She tells him she hates him, runs the fuck out. Which
I can't believe she would hate him after that.
I mean, honest to God, though, best situation for him is she runs out and doesn't like try to find someone to kill him with. You know,
For real.
it's like probably take your L right now, brother. But so we decide to explore the rest of the hotel as James. He, walks out of the room and finds that the rest of it is decrepit. It's fallen apart completely.
Yeah, he flashed into the other world.
Yeah, and we find some of it on fire even. And we then run into Angela, and this scene is genuinely one of the best. Like, again,
it's great.
I've said it a few times, but I'll say this again. Seriously, pause it, go back, watch this cutscene, go play the game even. Get to this cutscene, then come back here. But we find her, and she is, she's standing on a staircase that's burning. There's even a couple of visual references to her brother and her father who have done things to her. So we can see those on the staircase. But, she asks to return the knife, and he decides not to because she wants to die. And he's like, I don't think I can give this to you.
And then
yeah.
she's like,
well, he's like, this room is hot.
So you want to use that knife on yourself?
Yeah, which could be a hint towards something, but we'll talk about that. But
possibly,
James references that like, you should come down. It's burning. It's hot. And she says, for me, it's always like this, meaning that her version is like what she sees in her life, not just in Silent Hill, but in her life is hell, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is a good little symbolistic, it's a good little meaning, and we don't really see her after that. We don't know if she dies or if she just keeps going through Silent Hill like that. Obviously, I think she died, but I think it's better for the story that we don't know.
Yeah.
Because
let's the viewer bring their own interpretations forward.
Yeah. So we run into Maria again, resurrected for the upteenth time, and she's immediately just killed by not just one, but two pyramid heads. This is where we fight two pyramid heads.
Yeah, like it's not even like, she accidentally died. No, they strung her up and stabbed her with spears.
Yeah, it's like she is gonzo.
Well, they had some difficulty killing her before, so they had to make sure.
Also, if you have the HD collection, one of her eyes turns into teeth.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, dude, I wonder if I can find that image.
You probably can, yeah.
It's such a shame. That would have been so great to put in a fucking thumbnail.
Well, I had to redo the thumbnail anyway to say that this is part 1.
Oh shit! You can put the one around her teeth eye if I can find it.
Nah, I already did that.
You're good. Fuck it. We'll find it later. I'll send it to you. But yeah, no, the teeth eye thing is hilarious. So yeah, James is led to the same hall, like a different hallway, but we eventually meet Mary, or depending on your ending, Maria again. But we're not going to talk about that like that. We're going to talk about this just mainly talk about the boss fight. But we run into Mary, or Maria, and we end up fighting essentially a boss fight version of her, and it leads to the endings. The boss fight's a boss fight. You kind of know what that's like, but um, okay, Tristan?
Okay.
Which ending do you think? Uh, which ending do you think is probably the canon one to describe first?
For me personally,
Yes.
water.
Okay. So yeah, the in water ending is where Maria is the boss fight there, but James
By the
rebuffs her.
way, the way you get this ending
Yes.
is you constantly take damage. I believe you kill a whole lot of enemies.
Yep.
Every so often, you examine the knife that Angela gives you.
Yeah.
Uh, you don't listen to a conversation in a long hallway at the end. And
Oh no, you do listen. You listen to that, and then the one on the headphones.
do you? I
Yep.
remember because I remember hearing that you don't listen to it.
For that one, that's for the Maria ending.
Right. Okay.
So,
But
yeah,
you do these things that are kind of a bit self-destructive.
yeah. Essentially, you put James at the most risk, and what happens here is you. Well, we'll describe it like, Mary tells you get a final meeting of Mary after a boss fight, and she's saying that he suffered enough for everything and gives him the full letter. She dies again in his hands, and according to the novelization, although there is some debate here, but we'll talk about it in a second, he takes her body out and puts it in the passenger seat. According to both Masahiro Ito and Guy Sihi, they say that she was actually in the back seat, laying down, the corpse laying down, but he moved her to the passenger seat. And then he arrives at the conclusion that he's unable to live without her, so he came here to kill himself in the place of memories with her. So what he does is drives his car into the lake with Mary's corpse so they can be together.
Yeah.
That ending is what a lot of people think is canon. Myself, honestly, kind of included.
While I don't think I'll probably think it's canon for like the universe at large.
Yeah.
But I do think that it makes the most sense from the perspective of James' journey throughout the whole thing.
True. At very least, it's a closing ending.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
sounds like it.
There are these hints throughout that the pyramid heads are James's subconscious kind of attacking him for doing the thing that he did.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, I don't think he could keep going after all of that,
Yeah. It's like when he finally gets a realization crack through, I don't feel like he could probably.
Yeah. He's not the type of person to do that.
Because in his own fucked up way, he did love Mary. It's just is incredibly fucked up, selfish, and needy, But In Water for me is probably the most, at least the most fitting one for me.
Yeah, and that's technically the bad ending, but sometimes bad endings can be the one that makes the most sense.
The probably best ending is in most positive natural ending is the Leave one, where again we meet vindictive Maria, who tries to get her to accept us, but we kill her after a fight, and we eventually meet Mary again, who gives him a letter, but James then leaves Silent Hill with Laura, which that one just feels like the least satisfying one, because Laura and him got in a big fucking fight because, he killed her.
And she's just like, me and the bestie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the most positive ending out of them.
Yeah, it's the one that you get to make yourself feel good.
Oh, yeah. And then we have Maria, which
I will say that one specifically is, keeping yourself, healthy, not killing many enemies. There are some other things like I think reading Mary's letter often, I think does that.
With that one, you also have to tried not to spend as much time with Maria as possible. So
Yes, which leads us into the
yeah,
next ending.
which the Maria ending is the complete opposite. You need to spend as much time with Maria as possible.
That's basically the only stipulation, other than apparently not listening to that whole conversation.
Yep, and don't bump into her frequently, because every time you bump her, I think it loses like a tiny % of.
Damn.
Yeah. So with that one, the person in the room will identify as Mary. We don't know if it's actually Mary, but so we'll fight her and all that. And James will return to Rosewater Park to stare at the water. Maria will then come back and ask if he killed Mary again. And James says that wasn't Mary, believing it was either just a hallucination or a manifestation. He leaves town with Maria, but as they leave, Maria starts to cough, implying she's suffering from the same illness as Mary. Basically,
God, that sucks. That sucks for James.
yeah, never-ending cycle, big circle.
See, then he's gonna come back because Maria sent him a letter to come to Silent Hill, and then he's gonna meet Mary again, and he's gonna be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, it's gonna be fucking wild. Then we got Rebirth here, which is the most intriguing one. If you remember that little island Tristan mentioned,
it's the most fucked up ending, I think. But it's like
it's the one that's like, oh fuck, it's like,
yeah.
Oh, what is he gonna do here? That's so stupid. No.
So you get that ending.
Yeah, you get to just be a second playthrough. You have to get
second playthrough, and you have to get like certain items.
You get a Book of Lost Memories at Texon Gas, the White Chrism at Blue Creek, the Obsidian Goblet at the Historical Society, and the Crimson Ceremony at the Lakeview Motel. And
yeah, you have to make sure not to pick those up if you don't want this ending. By the way, if you go on the New Game Plus, because they're there.
And you'll just find them and just be like, oh shit, okay.
Oh hey, new items, cool. But, what do they do? And then you find out, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, so
I was going for a completely different ending.
Yeah, after killing Maria, you'll take Mary's corpse to the Church of a Rebirth on Tolka Lake Island, and you will attempt to resurrect her by confronting the old gods of Silent Hill. And it kind of just cuts off there. We don't know if that actually works.
Yeah, we don't even see like the inside of the church on the island. It just kind of cuts off as he's getting off of the boat.
Oh yeah, funny enough, if you ever go through the models and look at that, it's literally just a 2D texture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll just post it to you real quick. This is what it looks like. Just that.
Yeah, it's just a photo.
It's literally the San Pedro Church in Avila, Spain.
Oh, nice
church, yeah.
Holy shit.
So then, continuing the tradition from the first game, there's the UFO ending.
Oh yeah. This one, you got to find a blue gem and use it in 3 places.
Yeah, so you get the blue gem from the very first room of the game on the New Game Plus.
Yep.
It's just kind of sitting there at the bottom of a stall door, and you can pick it up. You can even pick it up if you're not going for this ending, because you have to use the gem in 3 specific locations.
Yep. One's the hospital garden after the flesh lip fight. The second is the rowboat before the motel, and then one is right before room 312. And then you get abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, one of these days, Silent Hill protagonists should just learn to know better.
Oh,
this is the second time this has happened, and it's going to keep happening.
Is this different from the dog ending?
Yes. We'll actually get to that super
dog
quick.
ending.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the dog ending, you get a key in a doghouse somewhere in Silent Hill, and I think you have to get all of the other endings besides the UFO ending.
Yep, you either have to do the Leave in Water or Maria, or do the Rebirth itself. So really just 2.
Oh, okay.
But if you do the first one, then do Rebirth, you can do this one. But yeah, use the key on the 3rd floor, and then you get to open a door where a dog is controlling the events from a goofy cartoon console. Like a big 70s CIA computer console. And
it's the most well-known ending, paradoxically, of Silent Hill 2.
It really is.
Yeah, even though it's like the secretest one.
Because everybody knows, oh hey, the Silent Hill 2s, that's the one with the funny dog in the end.
That's what I know about it, yeah.
I've actually seen some people say for real, actually, the dog was actually for real, seriously, canonically behind the events of the
I
game.
have also
mean-
actually heard that, yes.
I mean, the beauty of it is it could be.
That's possible. You don't actually go in the room without the dog key, so you know.
True. Yeah, it can't be. It obviously has to be said. Like Silent Hill 2 is the most iconic of a franchise.
For sure.
It's fucking huge. It still is huge. Um, you know, honestly, we might, looking at the time, we might have to cut it off here. We could just,
Yeah.
because we got
Go ahead
real
and go
deep into
through.
this. We go through 3
go ahead.
super fast, but
Well, I would say go ahead and go through Born from a Wish, and then
Okay.
for next time we can do 3, 4, and a few others.
Yeah,
Alright.
that makes sense. Do we want the Silent Hill second movie? Is that like more of a
that's
three
based on the
movie?
third one. Yeah. So
Okay,
it's,
yeah.
it's based on 3, and it came out in 2012.
yeah, and it is not good.
I've heard.
But
Yes.
tell you what,
We'll talk about that next time, yeah.
if you guys want, if you want to rewatch both of those first films, I would be down to re-talk about the first film after a fresh watch, and rewatch the second one after 10
I
years.
really watch these movies without having played the games. That would probably.
I mean, I'm already
I-
spoiling you on these.
It's fine.
Personally, I don't
The
think
first one you can
that-
watch without playing a game, I think.
I don't think that I would want to watch these movies unless it was like in a group chat.
I mean, we could. You
I'd
know
be
what we could
game
do?
for that.
You know what
we
we
could do like a
Commentary
commentary type thing, yeah.
Ooh, I kind of like that idea.
Dude, you know, I am so down for it. I love the fucking first one. I genuinely think Silent Hill, the first film, is a fun film. It's not a great film, but it's like,
It's an
visually
important
still.
distinction to make, but yeah.
yeah. That's why I'm nervously excited about this new one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Born from a Wish. Yeah, this was released with the Xbox and the Greatest Hits version and everything then on.
Yeah, it's basically
It's
doing the same
DLC.
thing that like Resident Evil 4 did
Yeah.
with separate
Yeah.
ways.
Think
Persona
of this as
3
like,
the answer.
yeah, this is essentially what DLC was back in the day, folks. If you remember expansion packs also, that was something.
Yeah, you just have to buy a whole second copy of the game to get the new
Console.
content.
Yeah.
Everything, yeah.
I bought it on the Xbox just to play this fucking thing.
I remember the Xbox version of Metal Gear Solid 2. I think that also has some
Subsistence.
kind of yeah.
I will say, since we've been talking about ports of Silent Hill,
Yes.
I would personally say that if you own an Xbox, like an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X,
Yeah.
the second best way to play Silent Hill 2 would be the Xbox version.
Yeah.
Because it's not fucked.
They
you
did
know.
like the
Mm.
backwards compatibility team patched as much as they could, which
Yeah.
respect.
Interesting.
It's a better way to play it than,
Does it play on the 360?
360.
Um,
Yeah, it does play on the 360.
I would not recommend it on the 360 just because
Oh, really?
it didn't get normally patched like the PlayStation 3 version did.
Okay.
What you see on the
Oh wait, are,
No,
do you,
I
do
mean
you
like
mean
the
do you mean
the
HD?
original
oh
Xbox
fuck
version.
okay I'm high.
Yeah, I know the
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah.
original Xbox
The
360
original Xbox
does
version.
work.
Yeah, you can play it on the 360. I think the only thing it has is it had a save bug for a little bit, but I think they fixed it, so I think that's still
That's
playable.
good. Hell yeah. But yeah, like
Yeah.
play that on a new one because I'm pretty sure they've done a lot of good backwards compatibility stuff even with Xbox games.
Oh yeah. What I'll also recommend is if you're gonna play Born from a Wish, like I said earlier, play the fucking main game first. This will spoil
Yes.
plot things for you.
Yes.
So this takes place. I'm gonna canonically say it takes place right as James enters the town. You know, it makes more sense that way.
Yeah, it does. It makes the most sense.
So Maria wakes up alone in the changing room of Heaven's Night, and she is confused. So we're just kind of thrown in her thing. She has a gun, like she's got a small little pistol, but that's all we really have at the start of that. And we start to just wander the streets until we reach a place that's not in the main area of the game. So it is its own separate little area. It's you run into the Baldwin Mansion, which you meet a man behind the door named Ernest. Well, a man behind a door inside the house named Ernest Baldwin, and His door is locked. He's monotone. He's a little weird, but this is Silent Hill. Everyone's kind of weird. And
Always thought he sounded just a little bit like, oh God, what's that guy's name? Ben Stein.
it's
Just a little
kind
bit.
of. But he's like, I need you to find this liquid, which is the white chrism that's actually in what ending was it? Rebirth? Yeah, Rebirth.
Rebirth, yeah.
So he's like, I need this to bring my daughter back. And his daughter, Amy's apparently been dead for a tiny bit. So Maria's like, I'm okay with helping you. She even says, I don't mind fighting for an impossible cause. Which
That's nice.
yeah, that's motivation that's interesting. But we find, like, as we're going through the mansion, we find, a teddy bear that, she finds in Amy's room that Marie even says that Laura would love it, which is weird because she doesn't know who Laura is.
Yeah.
Which for us as an audience members, we've already played the thing. We know that's her as a manifestation. She shares some of Mary's like memories. That's
Yeah,
something.
there's a bit of bleed through when it comes to the memories, which I think is a very interesting concept.
Yeah. But we
Because
find
like it kind of sets her up to be kind of a clone of Mary, but she also has like her own autonomy.
yeah, it's like she's
it's
her
very
own
strange.
person in a way, which is it's baffling, but it's impressive that they can. As writing, they can do that and it work. Because I've seen some things try to pull that off, and it's like better luck next time.
You see it a lot with like clone stories.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
But we find as we find the white liquid, we give it to Ernest, and he says, there's a man who's looking for you. A man named James Sunderland. He's a very bad man, but he's looking for the you that isn't you. So that's an interesting thing to say. Maria's
Bro, just tell me what's going on, dude. Don't tell me these riddles. Man, the me that isn't. Fuck yourself.
Listen, he's Ben Stein. He's allowed to be a little cryptic.
Huh.
He's got a Clear Eyes commercial in the morning. He doesn't have time to explain it all to you.
True.
But we start to learn, like, Maria starts to learn memories as he's saying something, and it's like, she recalls that he wasn't good to his wife while she was sick, and that he did kill her, but recalls underneath that James is a kind person. Which,
I've seen people just use worse things to justify their abusive partners.
very true. Like, out of things, it could be worse, but...
No, but he actually loves me.
But Maria then kind of, like, tries to open the door and finds out that entirely it's been unlocked. There's nothing in the room. Nobody in there. So it's either been a ghost or she's been hearing things.
Ben Stein is all in your head.
Ben Stein... When Ben Stein's memories. So, yeah, she leaves the mansion. She's just sitting there. She puts her gun to her head even at one point, but she decides against it and throws against the wall. Throws it over the wall, actually. And then we see her start to walk to Rosewater Park, and that's the end of Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
Silent Hill 2, again, I'm not doing it justice by explaining it. I'm willing to admit that.
There's so many different details. Like, there's the fact that several different corpses throughout the game look exactly like James.
In places where James would obviously be like, obviously notice it too.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything about it either. Like, I think he makes a very vague reference to it the very first time it happens. No, not the first time it happens, because the first time it happens is when he gets the radio.
Yeah.
So it's in the No. He doesn't do that, because the only time he even like says anything about any of those bodies is in the apartments, where he's just like, "Oh God, who did this?"
Yeah, he never mentions that it's him.
Huh.
It looks exactly like him.
He never says, "Wow, this guy looks exactly like me. That's weird."
Because here's the thing: it's a two-way trick. One, it's clever as a storytelling perspective, but it's also a way they can save resources.
Oh yeah.
Which we're not going to talk about Silent Hill 3 this episode because look at the time. But to mention one thing before we leave this topic, they did reuse James's model for the model of Harry Mason in Silent Hill 3.
Yeah, but they did do that in a way that's just like,
it's clever enough.
Yeah, it's meant to be Harry Mason, but it's not. You know,
Yeah. Hey, look, they got that game out about 2 years after. They had to save resources. I get it.
yeah, it's not meant to be anything beyond. Oh, hey, look, they reused that model.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, if you play the game your first time, you won't recognize it, so that's fine.
Yeah,
Um,
and there are some other
yeah.
small details I want to really quickly mention. There's stuff like the hotel. The
Yes.
hotel actually supposedly burnt down,
Oh yeah.
and I think it's very interesting that the Otherworld version of the hotel,
Is
besides the single stairway that Angela is in,
yeah.
is drenched in water. It's dripping everywhere. It's like moldy and mildewy. But then when in the place that Angela is, it's just on fire.
Yeah.
I think
It's
that's interesting.
it's impressive just some of the shit they did also,
Yeah.
Like
If you pay attention in the very beginning at the first room, you can see Maria on a Heaven's Night poster on the wall in the bathroom.
yep.
You can I'm sorry, I
Oh, you're
fucking
good.
blacked out for a second there.
Huh.
I will say in the very beginning, the very first thing you hear on the radio is a voice that sounds suspiciously like Mary asking, "Why did you kill me?"
Yeah.
Broken up by static, and if you really listen to it, you can just hear it.
Yeah, it's like you can hear it if you're focusing. It's like, "Oh shit."
Like it's and that's weird because the first time you're like, "Oh, well, that's some crazy words on static," but then the second time you just hear it. It's wild.
Hmm.
There's also one of my favorite little details is in the graveyard at the beginning when you meet Angela.
Yeah.
One of the gravestones just says James Sunderland.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
There's just all these details that just kind of add to the sense that shit's weird and
Something's not
not
right.
real. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And again, like there's a lot of topics that I mean, like weren't handled as well as they are even now. That were handled very well with like Angela's story especially.
Never forget Team Bloober says that abuse victims should
Yeah.
what was it? So abuse victims should just cease to be,
Yeah.
something like that.
Something close to that. It wasn't as bad as
It was either they should cease to be or they deserved it. It was something wild and out
Something
of
really
pocket.
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
And that's
admittedly,
those are the guys that are
they're
handling the
remaking
remake.
two. Which admittedly, it's not as embarrassing as I don't know if you've ever heard of a game, The Suicide of Rachel Foster. Which
I've heard the name.
yeah, that game literally victim blames a girl for getting raped by a teacher. I think it was a teacher. I'm
Oh,
almost certain it was a teacher.
good.
Did they make that?
No, but
No, I don't think that was Bloober. I would have
Yeah.
heard of it if it was Bloober.
I don't think that. I hope that company's not around anymore. But
Well,
funny
I
enough,
have
that
to.
game's like $1 all the time, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably why.
Well, yeah.
That'd be my 13th reason. You know, I will say, Silent Hill 2, it sounds like a very cool game. Hearing you guys talk about it, it reminds me of some of the stuff I was most interested in Disco Elysium. And overall, it's just really nice that there's a game out there that lets you roleplay as JF Garepi.
Yeah, jump on swag, get a P simulator.
Yeah, that's true. You can literally the game really makes you feel like Stephen McCullough.
I mean, of all the things that James would do, I don't think he would set up a live stream and fake it.
Yeah, he doesn't have the technical knowledge.
Not that bright. Not that bright.
Yeah, he's just a guy who used a pillow, He's not very high tech.
Actually, funny enough, I never brought up the timeline that I had sort of set up for the series, but this one would take place, I think, like 91. I think is what I had.
It was in the 90s.
Yeah, because I had because Silent Hill 1 is 86, I think, is what I had written down.
Really?
Yeah, because
Okay,
Silent Hill
that
3
makes-
takes place in
that makes sense.
2003.
Yeah, that absolutely makes
Next
sense.
episode, I'll pull out my timeline and place everything before we touch on 3. How about that?
Hell yeah, that
Sounds
sounds good.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize that they weren't just the year that the game came out.
Nope, because
Yeah, because Silent Hill 3 has to take place a certain amount of time after 2.
yeah, it's at least 17 years. Wink, wink.
I see.
It is. Well, we'll explain that though later. But with that, folks, do we have anything else we want to wrap up with?
Well, I kind of want to plug
Yes.
the merch store and the Patreon.
Yes.
But fuck it, you know what? Full on ad read at the very end. Cushy Dreams, code loud25. You can go there.
In my restless dreams, I see that website, cushydreams.com. And let me tell you
you'd
this.
buy me some weed again someday, but you never did.
Yeah.
God damn it!
And now
I'm alone in my room now,
25% off
waiting to be
too.
high.
Yeah, and now I'm here with my 25% off code at checkout, waiting.
You know, what will your personal Silent Hill look like, listeners, if you miss out on your option for 25% off weed, and then the rest of your life is just an increasing shit show of reminders that you could have saved money on weed? You know,
Okay.
don't be like that.
Look,
If everything around you looks like rust, just take a hit of some Cushy Dreams. You'll be fine.
yeah, look.
Yeah, don't breathe in too deep, but you know.
Are you gonna turn
You
down, Pyramid Head when he passes you the Cushy Dreams free roll? I don't think so.
I'd be too scared to turn down, honestly. But even if it was someone that I wasn't scared of,
Yeah.
who could possibly turn that down?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what if James Sunderland just walked up to you, no ill intent, he just said, "Get us," and handed you like a full gram pre-roll.
Yeah,
A
full
full
gram
gram.
Delta 8 pre-roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like specifically Dream, that specific
That
flavor.
Dream
that
was
really good.
Oh, I thought you meant Dream the YouTuber. If he handed me
No.
a
If he handed
pre-roll,
me,
I
I'd
don't
be a
think I
little
would smoke
nervous.
it.
But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be a little sus of a
But if I-
Dream
if I
handing
saw
me
that-
something.
if
but
I saw that Cushy Dreams logo on the branding though,
listen, if I saw
Then
Cushy
sure.
Dreams on it and it was sealed before he put his fingers on it, sure. Actually, if
No.
it was sealed until he handed it to me.
Now you're lucky, folks. You don't need to spin in a circle like a retard doing gyromancy to get this deal.
yeah.
You just need to go to
Oh, you
Cushy
brought it
Dreams.
back.
You just need to go to cushydreams.com
yeah.
slash wait, what?
Well, you go to Cushy Dreams
Promo
and
code
use
loud
code
25.
loud25.
Promo code loud25 at cushydreams.com.
Listen,
Yeah.
if we took 25% off of this mini Hyperfixation series, you'd only be getting 3 games.
Yeah.
But 25% off in this situation is better for you because you could spend less money or you can spend the same amount of money, get more stuff. How are you not taking this deal? Come on.
Yeah, like if you got 25% extra terrible Silent Hill games
Yeah.
from 2010 or whatever, like that would be unfortunate. But you're getting 25% extra weed.
Yeah, you're not getting
we-
25%
technically.
of Silent Hill Homecoming. You're getting 25% of something that'll make you stand Silent Hill Homecoming.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's no easy feat.
Yes.
But hey, listen. Weed is like pizza. There is no bad pizza.
Very
There's
true.
just pretty good pizza and great pizza.
Some damn good pizza.
So even if you're not a fan of Cushy Dreams quality, which by the way, if you're like that, who the fuck are you? What's wrong with you?
Cushy Dreams makes
But even if you're not a fan,
like that,
even if you're not a fan, if you inhale that funny smoke, you get funny high.
Yes.
yeah.
You give a very funny high.
So you can go to cushydreams.com, use promo code loud25 at checkout to help us and help our sponsors
Yeah.
and help yourself.
Help us
But
help
there's
you.
another way. There's another way that you can
Yes.
help us, and that's Patreon.
Yes.
So I'm either from now on or like in a couple of episodes for the hyperfixations, we're going to start putting them on our Patreon first and then other feeds later.
Oh yeah.
Because
Sounds
I
about
mean
right.
this series has from the start, this mini series has from the start been like, oh hey, this is a fun thing for patrons. But we
Kind of been putting it
didn't-
out there, building it up.
Yeah, we've been growing our audience, and
Yeah.
part of that
Yeah.
is giving a little free sample.
Exactly. And
And
look,
I mean,
they'll come out publicly.
we-
It'll just take way more time.
Yeah, it'll just take longer. You'll probably
Particularly-
grow old.
Particularly times we
You'll
don't want to
probably-
record.
You'll probably grow old and feeble by the time it comes out, but hey,
Yeah.
if you slide us a little bit a month, and we'll get that shit to you on time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
coming up, we're going to be doing more Silent Hill. We've got potentially Resident Evil stuff planned. We've got Elder Scrolls, Doctor Who. Bane wants to talk about zombies lore.
Yeah.
Me and Bane want to talk about Call of Duty zombies, that is, which is
Yes.
surprisingly deep lore,
Oh, yeah.
apparently.
I mean, if this took this long for 1 and 2, we can only really cover World at War to Black Ops 2 in our first one.
Yeah,
Oh,
good lord, that's
God.
gonna be
Yeah.
that's gonna be a series.
I'm not even kidding when I say Black Ops 3 will be this long.
You and me, Bane, we're gonna be
Yes.
we're gonna be doing like CW superhero shows or something at some
Yes.
point.
Dude,
Yeah, and
I
know
need to
Tristan
watch the Gotham
specifically
Knights 1 season series also. I didn't watch that.
that
I'm
exists.
in the position where I just don't like superheroes in general unless it's like Sam Raimi Spider-Man or maybe The Dark Knight.
I feel
Mm.
that. I respect that.
So I'm gonna just let y'all do that when I'm like sick and dying.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. I do think you'd be good just to react to some of the dumb shit, because when we get to like Arrow season 6,
Yeah.
If y'all want to talk about it, like really, really want to do a hyperfixations and I'm not sick, yeah, I'll join in and fucking listen in. I might leave
points,
after a little bit or just like
you'll be like, what the
come
fuck?
in and out.
Or did they steal that from fucking, like, there's some of it they literally stole from like JoJo. Not even kidding.
Oh,
Really?
There's that one Flash. There's that one Flash season. I'm almost certain they stole it from like one of the JoJo seasons.
Well, we'll have to get into that. That sounds fun.
That's great.
Yep.
So there's also another way you can support us.
Yes.
But this version gets you something physical other than weed.
Yeah.
We have a merch store that we're starting to build up.
That and we still haven't fully talked about it, but did we talk about the possibility of doing stickers on Patreon? Because that's a thing we can do.
If we talked about it, we did talk about it.
Private. But
yeah, I think we just did that.
Yeah, tell you what, folks, if you do want to sign up for a Patreon and you think that sticker idea is a good one, say something, because it would probably be a $10 tier.
Yeah, tell us, and because I mean,
we
don't know.
Patreon does take a little bit of cash for that in general, but it's
yeah, but still, like
let us know.
We could just do that.
Go.
I just gonna make a little design every month. That sounds fun.
I mean, honestly, just doing something goofy with it. That could be anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of all I got.
Yeah.
I'm a little tuckered out because 3 hours.
Well,
you were streaming before, weren't you, Claw? Fuck. Or
no,
I
did my.
You put a premiere. That's what it was.
He edited a video of Christian's comeback.
I was streaming yesterday, and then the evening and morning I spent entirely doing this, and then I was out all day, and so yeah, getting a little late.
Well, yeah,
but I
you
will say,
yeah,
I want to make I got beef fat for it. It's gonna be delicious.
Just got another fucking mass ping spam tweet.
Oh jeez.
Thank you, Elon Musk. Fuck you.
Bravo, Elon.
Well, one last thing I'll say before we go: make sure you check out the weird Silent Hill. Well, first of all, I don't know. We'll talk about the circumcision Silent Hill situation. Don't elaborate on that if people don't know. Do not elaborate.
I won't say a word.
Don't. If you hear that and you're interested, wait until we explain it, because we're gonna put it in an entertaining way.
It's gonna be a whole thing related to Silent Hill 4, supposedly, allegedly. But
no. That's the thing. We don't even have to talk about how it goes into Silent Hill 4. We just need to talk about the thing that happened on
how
it happens.
The guy really.
Oh,
yeah. There's some. He's very adamant about it, but I was gonna say the fucking Silent Hill like Game Boy Advance visual novel thing that came out that was like Japan only. I remember hearing about that. I think it was eventually translated. It's a very
It's available on oh geez, what website?
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
CD Romance, probably.
No, it was on a fan website. But I can't remember where it is now.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. It's a very unique kind of game for the Game Boy Advance. Like the They tried to put fucking Resident Evil 2 on like the Game Boy Color, but Konami was like, no, you know what we're gonna do? Just like a text adventure, like a visual novel, and apparently it was
Okay.
pretty good.
So
So you can find it on SilentHillMemories.net. It's a visual novel of just Silent Hill 1, and they've translated it.
yeah,
Yeah.
which funny enough, by the way, to wrap everything back, if you go to that article, somebody made a PC port, right? That person, that author's name, Gyromancy. It's all cyclical, man.
Oh, spin in
hell
circles and hit that like button, ladies and
And
gentlemen.
someone made an adaptation of it for the Mega Drive and Genesis, so that's also something.
Yeah, that's cool,
That's
actually.
really cool.
Yeah. There's
Well,
also there was one thing to wrap that up, since we'll
Mhm.
probably never talk about playing novel again. I may as well just do this before we end it. There were also 4 downloadable scenarios, which are not, which I think are lost media still, but replayed as a boy
Game
named
Boy
Andy.
Advance downloadable.
Yep. Well, it was downloadable
Like
in
an e-reader
Japan.
thing?
Well, no. Okay, so
Oh.
Japan, interestingly enough, was way far ahead of us when it came to putting shit online. So they had an
Makes sense.
attachment for the little port on the GBA that you'd plug in, and then you'd plug into your mobile phone. At the time, it was
So it's like a Keitai Denshu Telephone kind
Yeah,
of deal.
and you'd plug it into your phone, and it would download. And interestingly enough, hold on, hang on, we might just have breaking news about something on Twitter. Hold on.
Oh
I-
god. Is it Silent Hill related?
No, but
Oh.
It's Twitter related.
yeah, here. Apparently, according to Fortune, yeah, they're gonna be.
I swear to
I knew
God.
it.
Dude,
I
I'm-
knew it.
I'm tweeting this out
I'm
after
going-
this. Fuck it, let's go
I
on
am
Twitter.
going to get banned
hold on.
for telling Elon Musk to kill himself. I'm going to do it. I just have to
Real quick.
decide when strategically is the best way to do
You
it.
gotta
Okay,
strategically craft how you say it.
Okay,
because if you say it in a way that's silly enough, he won't understand.
Yeah, real quick, for anyone listening to a Silent Hill podcast, this is the end of a Silent Hill podcast. I'm gonna probably put this part out on Twitter after a second, but yeah, thank you for listening. Let me
Thank you, everybody.
penis.
Venus. Also, spin.
Spinus.
Spin.
Spin.